do anything, lock in those profits, because Monday, bright and early, we're going to be back 11 a.m. right here, but 8:30 to start that pre-market prep show here with these guys, Sharif, Brando, Sean, Neil, Adara, bringing you the hottest tickers of that specific day, bright and early on Monday, guys.
I love it.
Let's see what what's Obi and Neil are up to.
Get it, Obi.
Go. Lots of fun on the midday, 100%. And the man telling you not to rage out is the one throwing, ready to throw hands. So you got to have, with that power, with that kind of power though, comes great responsibility. Everybody.
I understood that movie reference.
That reference you get. Of course. This man's talking about, of course, when you probably haven't even seen The Godfather.
Not yet.
You still haven't seen The Godfather?
No, I haven't.
Obi, we're going to work on that 100%. There was a lot of fun. I know you guys heard.
It's literally on my to-watch list. So
no, it should be. And Carlos in the chat, is kids really going? And I get it. Everyone's cracking up with this. And when we're covering this name, Class Over, what the heck is it called again? Oh, goodness. Class Over Holdings, Inc. This is the dumbest name I have ever heard. Is that a SPAC? Like, Holdings Inc. sounds like it should be a SPAC, but it is trying to go. So look, there's no avoiding this, everybody. It's done 76 million shares of volume, and it's been in a pretty big upward trend. The only thing is the rejection up here at the $10 level, which I guess it's not a SPAC. I don't know. Like, that doesn't look like one to me, but anytime I see like whatever blah 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 holdings, that's what I always think about. Like, I always think of a SPAC. So KIDZ kids is going to be in play. Tesla is absolutely on one. I'm back at Amazon off VWAP, but here's what I don't like. Amazon off VWAP has been pretty good, but the difference now is the Nasdaq is chilling out at the highs, even after breaking the trend. It's kind of consolidating, trying to make a run at the high. So we should be bouncing much better off of the volume-weighted average price here in Amazon. You should be doing what Tesla is doing, in my estimation. But remember, Bezos filed to sell more shares. Somebody's already selling at 193 on this stock. So there's a heck of a lot to look at here this afternoon. Whether or not we get crazy action, it is a Friday, and we're already up 2 points here. That remains to be seen, but it's been a wild enough day. There's been plenty of things for you to be able to trade. You saw, like, in the middle of the day when we got that headline, I was doing the lesson of the day in Amazon. I didn't end up pulling my offer. It was a mistake. I think one of those things that'll happen is like you'll have news come out there, and as you're digesting kind of what to do, you're reading headlines, sometimes you should, like, if it goes in your favor, you should just hold. I think, like, when something rapidly changes while you're in it, if it's in your favor, like, the default action should be to just cancel and not, like, trail out of it or not get out of all of it if it's going in the money. That was probably a mistake on my part, but I didn't know what the headline was. You saw it live. I was doing the lesson of the day, and we had to go back to Adara to figure out what it was.
Yeah, something I was watching during the midday session was Tesla, Neil. And Tesla did come up into that 294, 295 area. Now, why did I have eyes on that? If we've been watching Tesla over the past couple of days, or over the past past week, I was going to say couple of weeks, but we kind of came in a lot of it this week here. You can see the wind up that we've been having this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Pretty much every day we come into this level of that 294, 295, and you can see that level coming in here in the past as well in mid to end of March. So a little bit of a resistance here in the 295, just shy of that 300 level, and we're kind of grinding back up into it today. So I did like the short. I wanted to get in short here, and actually looking at it, it does a pretty clean rejection of that 294 halves there, pulls back into that 290, but still well within range, well within trend here, kind of grinding to the upside. So I'm curious to know, in the last couple of hours on Tesla, we've been winding up into this 295 all week, Neil. Are we finally going to break? Maybe the volume and the action that we're looking for is going to come in these last couple of hours or the beginning of next week. I have no idea, but the wind up is real. It's a trap. I mean, I'm looking for supply. Honestly, I'm looking for supply.
Yes.
Unless and until we can get above that level with some volume and sustain, I'm definitely going to be looking for more of the same. Do we grind up into this? I even said earlier, low volume grind up into an area of supply. What does that result in? I have no idea, but a trend break
Oh, you
could
know
be
sometimes.
interesting.
Well, you also, and I know you know exactly what's happening on Sunday. That's why we hit that key. I'm sure you know all about that.
Sunday?
May 4th.
May the 4th be with us.
That's what I'm talking about, Obi. Obi back on board. He doesn't just drop puns. He knows all about May the 4th be with you.
These are not the tickers you are looking for. Stock selection. Oh boy. All right.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Oh boy.
You're my boy, Blue. I gotta rewatch, straight up. I gotta rewatch that movie. Oh, Old School is one of those films. It's so good. Step Brothers. Nothing can hold a candle to Tropic Thunder. The Tropic Thunder is the funniest movie that's been made in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And you know why it's so funny? Because they just didn't care about anything except for making it funny. They're like, I don't care what if people absolutely hate it, we're just gonna do something which is an absolute riot, and who cares? I remember, like, my dad can be, look, my dad's a little old-fashioned. He dies when he watches that. Shout out to Nimrod's doing it again. All right, I'd see the first one. Okay, here we go. Nimrod with the super chats. So we're gonna see him, and we gotta guess what he's talking about here. Thank you for super chat number 1, 6990. I don't know why the 6990. W.
Okay.
O. L.
Owl.
Now, hold on. What could this possibly be? I can't think of what this might be. Nimrod probably going to give
Hogwarts
one
and
more.
He's studying for his owls.
Say what in the who now? Come on, Nimrod. One more. We all know you're going to do wolf. It's got to be wolf.
There's no W?
I don't know. I guess it's no. That's wrong. It's dog. Arr. It's you got to be talking about wolf. Wolf double top high of the day. Of course, you're talking about wolf. Be careful, everybody. This is the exact moment. Hit the like on you. Thank you very much, Nimrod. We knew it would be wolf. Sharif was all over this bad boy, flying to the upside. Just remember, double top, and it's in the midst of a pullback. I never want that. You never really want that early break, I don't think. At this time of day, you think you want to be buying those dips. Wolf has been on one. This is a continuation play. It's got the 50 period. It probably squeezes some people out at the $5 level. Got to break that trend. It's trying to break trend today, so that's why you get some resistance up here, which makes a ton of sense. So I wouldn't necessarily want to buy those highs. I'm just in one long, one short. Predictably, Intel's the short, and then you can see Amazon long. But let's see what symbols other than wolf you want us to talk about.
Welcome, everyone, to the Market Recap Show, the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Obi in for Sean, as you just saw, but the boys are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to make sure your ticker ends up there is to join Joseph and I on the midday show and get into that chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you got to be a subscriber, guys, in order to vote and engage with us. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. Here's a look at the 4 major averages right now. The best of the bunch, the Russell 2000. Wow, 2.5 percentage points up on the day. A bit of an outlying day there. The NQ up very well as well, up 1 3/4. Likewise with the ES 1 2/3, and the Dow, the worst of the 4 major averages, still up nicely though, 1.4% on the day. Here's the first ticker as decided by you guys. AAPL reported after the bell yesterday, and we covered it for you here on the Market Recap Show. Not a bad quarter, but sold off nonetheless, beating on the top and bottom line, and basically saying they're going to buy back about $100 billion worth of stock. But they did mention that the headwind for tariffs could cost them about $900 million, guys, in the June quarter. Apple down 3 3/4.
Okay, well, that's how we're rolling. Yesterday in the rundown, I'm seeing the rundown thing for the first time now. Yesterday in the rundown, it's like we had the names and there was nothing next to it, because usually there's always like a fun little quib.
Oh yeah.
This time Apple sucks. You know what? I agree, because usually I'll be straight. If I take 4 positions on a stock and go 2 for 4, I'm almost always going to be up on the stock. Like a 1 for 4. Sometimes you'd be down, but ideally you'd be flat if you go 1 for 4 or just down small. But 2 for 4 should be up on a stock, but I'm down on Apple because ultimately it was the timing. It's like the first long taking it on the break when it was breaking away from that 05. That was a good scalp. But then loading back into VWAP was no good. And then I immediately entered a short, which was a good scalp to 204.20. But then I averaged back into it at VWAP for it only to break back higher. So unfortunately, it's like I was respecting the VWAP long a bit too much, like to take it into VWAP instead of taking it with momentum. I think at this point, 205 clearly has some weird stuff going on with it. It's a big moment for Apple because the market is, we got positive headlines. I mean, the fentanyl headline, you can say whatever you want, it's a positive headline. Right? Like any negotiation is good. And Apple's a name that should be benefiting by that. Unfortunately, as the market's taking out the highs, Apple's down 4%, and it is doing a whole lot of nothing. So trading it off the right level, but I think you have to be a little bit more sniperish off that 05 back and forth and just kind of take the profit it gives you instead of trying to hold for the home run, because that gets you in trouble. Like if you try to like sniper out a third or a quarter and then hold for the bigger move, that's what's been rinsing you. But if you just sort of take it for the 50 cents to $1 that it gives you, you've been fine off of that level. But still relatively weak on Apple. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. Amazon is looking, at least for now, a little bit better. Disappointing services number and disappointing price action relative to the market. You don't like it this bad when the market's taking out the highs.
Yeah, no, I like the action off the open, Neil. Again, if you guys were here, took a bit of a trade there just for a quick reversion to VWAP. Strong selling off of the open. Did not re-engage, though, when this VWAP reclaims and that kind of bounce high gets taken out at that 204 halves. If you guys were here, we were watching that 203, maybe some reserves, maybe some held bids there, and it comes in. It comes in with a little bit of a higher low and then gives us that quick, nice little scalp back into VWAP there. And then later on, yeah, sure, it kind of breaks that top and gives us a continuation all the way up to 207s. Wasn't really involved in that, but since then, yeah, pretty much nothing really going on here. A sideways chop, maybe if you're taking reversions into VWAP, maybe that's working, but I have no idea. The trade off the open, though, that would definitely fit my playbook on this one. Earnings day one, a little bit of a continuation off of the open. Again, if you had that anchored VWAP on the chart off of the earnings event, you can see that right off of the open, Apple rejected its anchored VWAP at that 206s. Then we get that reversion back into VWAP, and then later on back through that anchored, little bit of a doji, maybe some interest there, and then that continuation. But since then, look at that. We've just been chopping sideways, so nothing too crazy. Earnings day one on Apple. Beautiful price action, beautiful opportunities off of the open during the opening session as well. But as of right now, nothing too crazy as it chops around while the market decides to make a move. But yeah, the future's kind of just stepping up gradually here, and Apple trending sideways.
By the way, kids, new fresh high of the day. It just got to $10.50. It's an absolute monster. So for anybody that's, like you guys probably all know this because you've been watching it since the middle of the day, but they're launching a Solana-based treasury strategy. So it's a crypto play now.
Okay.
And as long as it holds that trend, I think you can probably go ahead and try to buy some dips in here. It's weird. Like I don't recall paying for locates on this, but I can actually. This is shortable for us. It's like free short. I didn't expect it to be free shorts, but not that I'm.
Be careful with that one.
No, I'm not.
What's the float on that one?
That's the scary thing.
Right. Don't try this at home, kids.
That's a good one. You're on fire with these, man. What I was going to say, sometimes it's the ones that are free locates that day traders get messed up on the most because it's like, oh, well, it's not costing me anything to go short, so you just try it more often.
Oh, you're definitely paying.
You get destroyed. You pay in another way, in a way that you don't want to. Amazon, not bad. That's pretty good. I mean.
How's it going, Sharif?
Yes, checking
the DMs, you know.
Always, boys. Come on now. All right, guys. From the Amazonian to Amazon, reported after the bell yesterday. We covered it here on the Market Recap show for you. And look, it was a good beat on the top and bottom line. They also guided better, but the one silver lining, or not silver lining, the bad part about this report was AWS, Amazon Web Services. That's 4 quarters in a row now, guys, that they've missed on expectations. They also grew below expectations. So now it's Google Cloud and AWS missing, guys, and Azure taking the cake, and that's why Microsoft's been doing what it's doing. Fantastic look for Microsoft, but Amazon still up 0.5 percentage point on the day.
There's no way. And then it happens so beautifully. I'm like, oh,
Obi,
well.
you know what? Here's why I'm kicking myself.
Yes. What does that say?
193
Okay,
with a gigantic exclamation mark on Amazon. That being said, VWAP has been fantastic on Amazon today. Look, Sharif is dead on about that miss when it comes to AWS. The fact that you've missed multiple quarters, that's important for them. Obviously, you get a little bit of relief. I think if any deal gets done with China, that can be good for them on their retail side. No questions about that. But the 193 level, like why I didn't. Okay, well, you know what? The whole notion of why I didn't short it is obvious, because sometimes you get a personal bias in terms of the direction of the stock. It's like, well, I've been long 5 times today on Amazon. So I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking long in Amazon after it did that smash down in the aftermarket and then regained. And then look at where it held. It held a dip in the aftermarket resistance. Oh, sticky keys. I didn't even hit my key. Well, give me a break. Seriously? I did nothing with my keyboard that would even make this come on here. Okay? Seriously, Mike? This is why we can't have nice things. No. Do not want to turn on sticky key. There's no, it wasn't holding anything down. That shouldn't happen. Anyways, so yeah, you pull back into this 186 level, and that's a perfect hold. So I'm thinking longs at that point. First time we try VWAP, it doesn't work. We talked about it at the midday. The second time off VWAP, and then got caught up in the news. I'm in it again, although it can't seem to go more than like the dollar. It just gave us that first dollar, and it's threatening to lose the 190 here. So that's where I want to work from. 193, obvious resistance. The market's at highs, and it can't get back to it. Bezos has filed to sell more shares. I don't know, maybe he's already doing it at 193. If I see that hold up for multiple days, I'm making that assumption that 193 is Bezos, another Bezos selling level. You just throw me. All I hear is like, oh my God, over there, like.
Ramin's cooking up some really cool stuff there. So. Yeah. You probably will find that. I mean, are you gonna be posting that soon enough? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So stay tuned for. I think it looks like a YouTube short, but maybe an Instagram
or maybe
post
Instagram
as well.
post.
Yeah,
I think
we'll see. But yeah, good stuff. What are we talking about again? Oh, right, Amazon.
Your favorite stock?
Yeah. Well, favorite, questionable. Did it do what I was looking for? Yes. I think Amazon, again, trying to keep it simple. I was like, all right, look for that range to come in. That 93 came in right off of the open. That supply came in right off of the open once again, off of that same level that we saw it at before. But guess what? Sure, maybe I missed that trade. Those prices came in the pre-market. You had to get involved a little early and a risk to the highs there. But that anchored VWAP, look at the bounce off of anchored VWAP. Not only does it hold anchored VWAP, but that is currently the low of the opening session. We've only been making higher highs and higher lows. Funny enough, Neil, that's where I tried the long in the morning. That's literally where I tried the long, and I remember distinctly. I'm like, I was not looking at any anchored. I was looking at the tape. I was looking at the tape turn there. I'm like, yeah, this is a great place to buy. I buy. I get out 66%. I get out of the rest right there, but I don't re-engage when it comes right back in. But guess what? It comes right back in even better, and it gives us that higher high, higher low. And we've been kind of trending up back towards that 93 level, where we found a little bit of selling there to bring us back down into VWAP again. So opportunities off of the open, absolutely yes. Opportunities as of right now, I have no idea. That's not really part of what I'm looking at. But I was looking at this retest of that high. I was back at my desk. In the back, and I was like, oh boy, is this really going to come in? That 93, our seller's going to step right back in. Because you got to remember, opening range high is sitting at, what is that price specifically? 192.30. Pre-market highs at 193.50. 30s. So we go to 192.88. So we kind of sandwich in between that pre-market high and the opening range high, and then sellers kind of step right back in. So that's kind of what I was watching. Missed trade on my part because it gives you that 193. Sure, maybe you don't get that 192.88. Maybe you're getting involved in this consolidation a little bit lower on the right side here. So you're getting 192.20s, giving it about a point, and then it comes right into 189.90s or 190 right there. So 190 consolidating on AMZN. A little bit of a shake and bake there as we sold off of the earnings report, bid all the way back up, and then sold off right again off of the open. But technically, off of the earnings reaction low and the pre-market levels and the after-hour levels and the opening range levels, technically we're making higher highs and higher lows, building into that 193 mark. So is this poised for another breakout? Looking a lot like some of these tickers, Neil, might be, poised for a little bit. Well, they've been winding up. We talked about Tesla and now Amazon as well. So let's see some strength, maybe potentially poised to come into the market. I have no idea, though. These higher highs into some of these levels do seem very interesting.
Very. So was Reddit.
Reacted very well yesterday in the aftermarket show, guys. The market recap show, Reddit really moving up aggressively. It's given back everything and now has actually gone negative, about 1 2/3% on the day. That's after reporting better than expected earnings, increasing its daily active unique users 31% year over year, guys, and 61% up for ad revenue. Just want to remind everybody that Reddit selling its user data to these large language model creators so they can train off, guys. Good look here.
It's true. Before we get to Reddit, I'm going to try something for SMCI. Hopefully this works.
By the power of Grayskull.
Don't give me the key. Don't give me that key, because then I'm going to hit it all day. Why? Because SMCI is on one right now. I don't have a particular explanation for it. We'll get to Reddit in just a quick second, but SMCI breaking out the highs, definitely trending this afternoon. You see the market's going. It's not as if this is going on its own. The market is breaking higher, but check out the gap on SMCI from about 33.8 yesterday's top into like 35.5. That's a big time gap fill. And look at it put in the work, like 2 days in a row. Since getting smoked on earnings, it's buy it up day one, pull back into prior resistance, fly day two. And then basically today was a consolidated day. Hold the close, trend back into the high, break out the high. This feels like a join if we can hold on to this like 33, maybe like 75 back in here. So good look on SMCI. Didn't trade Reddit today. And ultimately, it did catch a bit of a bid. I think when we were talking about this morning, it was like, you've trapped a lot of people on a good print. And all of a sudden, when that happens and you are right back underneath for like a weird head and shoulders look, it should just be a sell. And it's exactly what it turned into. Just didn't really want this short. I don't know why I wasn't looking at this one short for the reversion off 125. I think at one point I was saying, man, if it can just take out 26, we should be going long. But it didn't. It was just a clean sell right at the top of the opening range and a trend back down. Very similar. I mean, Robinhood did something similar, only it actually broke the high first. So Reddit not looking good. It doesn't matter what the earnings are, what you happen to think of them. The price action matters, and whatever was going on with this consolidation at 120 seems like accumulation. So to break down under this is dangerous. And remember, Obi, we're talking about 117 on Reddit. Well, at the open, it broke, went all the way down to 112, came all the way back. Now it's consolidating underneath that 117. That's bearish. We closed down here. I'm thinking short Reddit on Monday. Just based on this price action. But it could still rally. The market's pretty strong. It has a chance to still rally here. I hope it does.
I think the interesting part to me was that the shake and bake that happened in the after hours, right? So you get a strong push there. And again, I said this in the morning, and I still don't Don't really know what this selling came in off of, but I'm going to assume maybe it had something to do with the earnings report or the guidance or something like that, because that usually comes out a little bit later after the report. That pretty much reverted 100% of the move, coming back into those reference prices at the lows there on Reddit. So I think that price right there, like I said off the open, was going to be important for me. And take a look at that. That comes in right off of the open. Beautiful, clean breakdown of that 17, what is that, 17 halves? 17 halves, you can call it, right there for a low of 111.62s. That's absolutely wild there. So straight quadunk off of the open. You had to probably sit there with an order to get involved with that one. But beautiful reversion. If you missed that one there, you could, there was a bit of a stall there, a nice little reversion back all the way into the anchored VWAP from the earnings report as well. Now, I remember in the morning, I also put an anchored here as well, so you can kind of use whichever one, it's up to you. Yeah, so it kind of reverted to both of those, if you want to say that, and kind of making some lower lows and lower highs as of that day high right there, coming in at, what is that, 125.36. So pretty much rejected 125s back down to 117s. It's interesting, Neil. I do think that coming into Monday for earnings day 2, as I'm noticing that some of these earnings day 2s this season are coming in real nice as well, a little bit cleaner than day 1s. Definitely going to be on watch for day 2, but pretty much sideways within the opening range as of right now.
These weak arms are heavy.
Quantum?
We tried to find exactly what's going on with these quantum stocks today. They're all running. We're getting a fantastic look today, guys. 16 2/3%. There was this headline here with Ionic. They apparently demonstrated quantum enhanced applications, which is advancing AI. The note reads, it says, new hybrid quantum applications show quantum computing's ability to optimize material science properties using quantum enhanced generative adversarial networks, guys, and they fine-tune them using these LLMs. So yeah, trying to find something for you guys here on quantum names, but they're all strong on the day.
A bit of an understatement. Let's put it this way, the quantum names are Sharif in an arm wrestle, and then the regular Mag 7s be me. That's basically what, it gets ridiculous, and I know obviously, there's plenty of good opportunities today. I mean, you can't really complain because there's been a lot of good opportunities in the market today. But you cannot argue with the fact that Rigetti maybe HIMS was the only thing that was a better long today. And you could make an argument either way, and I would accept it. HIMS might just have been more. I didn't even look at this. It's just from a technical standpoint, HIMS was really clean, pull back in a prior high, and then trend away from that after yesterday. It pulled back into a prior low, and then. That's just a really good-looking trend. But when it comes to Rigetti, and these are all the same, we just happen to be talking about Rigetti, does this not look like a start of a bit of a squeeze opportunity? If you look at the bottom, when everything unraveled on these, and now kind of join that little bottom trend, and then look at this little top trend, that is one heck of a wedge that you're breaking out today. On Rigetti. So this smells like a great opportunity for continuation and might not just be a day one type of play. I'm incredibly, it looks really good. I wish I had taken a better look at this, because once you see that, you want to be joining the move a little bit earlier instead of waiting for some continuation the next day. Why would we not be getting to 1170? Why are we not retesting 1250 next week? I don't know when they report. Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. For this afternoon, there seems to be a supply zone at $10.60. That's really far away from VWAP to feel super comfortable with it. So I think, if I were ever trading, I really like what SMCI is doing, except for the fact that I'm not getting into it. But this is a tricky one, because I think you'd have to have a really tight stop if you tried to play it off this 1060, because VWAP is another 2.5% down there, and I don't think you'd want to hold that all the way into the volume-weighted average price. So let's see what's going on. Healing Pain naturally just said BBAI just went green. Text Sean. Oh, he's probably got an alert for that anyways. This is a potential squeeze as well. These earnings dumps, the BBAI earnings dump, recover it all, break out the top, trap the shorts. That looks pretty good. But Rigetti, what a ridiculous start of a potential breakout that is on the daily.
I think that again, Rigetti is one of the things I think Sharif was talking about as soon as I sat back down at the desk. But yeah, came up on one of my midday scans here, just doing a volume scan. I was like, oh boy, this thing is really running up. And again, you know me, I put in a trend line that I like, and I'm like, all right, if we break this, maybe look for that reversion. I watched this break happen. I watched this retest happen, but a bit of a hold on the bid right there at 1060s. I'm like, all right, maybe I don't necessarily want to get involved in this one if this is going to be that strong. Looking back at the daily chart as well, you can see that it is breaking out. Technically, we did start breaking out today off of that $10 level. We're trading at 1069. Nice back into that prior level at that 1140. So again, I got a couple anchors in here, but all-time highs sitting at 2142 from the nice little run up we had going into the end of the year in 2024 of the quantum sector. But since then, nice little sideways chop, maybe some failure to follow through back below 6s and 7s here on Rigetti. But yeah, maybe taking a little bit of a trip back up into some of these anchors from earlier. But that anchored is much earlier than the highs, so I'm going to go in quickly, throw in an anchored from the highs and see where that's sitting at. Would you look at that, Neil? We're coming right up into some of those levels here. So that is sitting here on a 15-minute chart. I have it sitting at 1113. So if we're going to consolidate and kind of test some of those levels from earlier, I do want to stay a little wary to see where this might take us. But I wasn't really involved early. I guess the early trade was that $10 breakout, and that's coming real nice here on Rigetti.
Guys, last on the list here, IBIT, Bitcoin, fantastic move up today for both. IBIT's up here 0.95%, but Bitcoin, guys, trading above 97,000 and now up 25% off those tariff lows, but we're still floating below that $100,000 technical resistance, boys.
It's happening. Yeah, we're getting to that 100,000 again. I mean, it's as good as it gets technically, because you haven't had to do much else. Like once we broke down 91, 92, it was wait for the test, get your bids underneath the 80 level, bounce off the. Sharif is literally singing songs over there.
He's like dancing.
He's actually singing and dancing. I'm trying to keep it together, but it is Friday. You got singing and dancing. You got Ramin making fire videos over there. But hey, so perfect technical, I think, for the dip buy. Goes right into and breaks, and now breaking out away from this 95 zone. So like I think a test of 100,000. Like, to me, why would this not lead us to a retest of the highs, right? Like if we're breaking this consolidation, if this holds over the weekend, like why are we not retesting the highs? Now, I wouldn't be surprised, and a few people have mentioned this already, that it would not shock me, and I don't think it should shock anybody if the next move is a retest of like 91, 92, just to confirm that it's good, maybe even trying to break down underneath. But I think we're headed back into the high. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to get Sharif to 125 for his birthday, but I mean, a retest of that 108 certainly could be in the cards by the end of the month. That I can get on board with. So yeah, really happy with it. Ultimately, I didn't trade IBIT today. It's not all that clean. What I would give you is this. I don't need to go to a 3-minute to just quickly show you, and I won't bother saving this because I think we can all. There you go. Like from the morning. If you kind of put that wedge on, like we have a chance to break the wedge for the afternoon here. I think that's a pretty solid potential breakout play for sure. So look, IBIT looks pretty good. I'm only in that Amazon trade. I'm staring down SMCI right now, and I got to think about where I want to exit the last of my Intel. Where'd it go? 2 seconds ago, the position board was there. I'm short Intel, long Amazon, but I got to think about where I'm getting out of the Intel or the last of my Intel shares.
Yeah, Neil, when it comes to Bitcoin, man, I cannot look at anything lower than like at least an hourly 3-hour chart or a 6-hour chart, 9-hour chart, daily chart, or a weekly. Here I'm looking at a weekly, and this is absolutely beautiful here. Kind of, we talked about this anchored VWAP that came in from that consolidation 60,000 break, 70,000 break there that happened, and we kind of consolidated, broke that down, reclaiming it now. So coming right back up into some of these prior ranges. So yeah, that 109.3 was at 358.01s here I have on Coinbase, the Coinbase exchange. is the high on this chart. So yeah, we're kind of coming right back into some of those levels, stepping up on a higher time frame. So yeah, I think 109 is more than within range. Are the lows within range too as well? The 75s, absolutely, yeah, more than within range is that 75 mark. But Bitcoin catching a little bit of a bid over the past 4 weeks now, it would seem, Neil. So about 2 more days technically, because it does trade 24 hours. 2 more days technically, because it does trade 24 hours, and over the weekends as well for this week to end. But yeah, nice little strong push back above that anchored from the breakout here on Bitcoin. So should be interesting in the coming weeks to see if or not we get some follow through, or is there still some resistance sitting just shy of that 110 mark here on Bitcoin. I think that again, with a lot of I guess rumors and maybe potential news of what was that? Maybe potential stable coin by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of news on that. As well, so maybe some interest coming back into some of these tickers, but interesting stuff nonetheless. And yeah, that ticker definitely one worth a watch.
Yeah, and
By the power of Grayskull.
We are. Whoa. Okay. All right. So when
is that what the other button does? Oh, I hooked up the wrong one.
Oh no.
Just give me a second there. No, seriously, like live.
Stop everything.
Fabian sent me 2 of these, and one of them was 30. What was the other one, Fabian? While I'm doing it live, I think it was 33.
We're live.
33, 31. So I had it wrong on my. So of course I put the less cool one on, and that. You can't do that. You got to put the cool one first and then the secondary one, because I want to set up the one that's legit. That is fire. So MSTR, look, I have genuine empathy for all the people for anybody that's caught short. The hedge funds that are betting against this right now. If we had something to pour out, they're in a bit of trouble right now, because if we do get to that high on Bitcoin, the hedgies are going to be doing some crying. Now they got cash they got some cash to burn.
What?
They got cash to burn. And the best part about it is, like, we're breaking this we already broke 400. You get through 405, then we try to glide. You break 440, and all you know what breaks loose on this stock. And the craziest thing, and I'm going to kick myself for this, and my physio guy watches the show, and he's in MSTR, and he's on vacation, so he's probably not watching right now. But I owe him I can't believe I didn't look at a weekly chart of MSTR. Because if you pull up a weekly chart of MicroStrategy, not a daily, but a weekly, and you look at this 50 period on the weekly chart of MSCI, and what have you been able to do at this 50? Like, it does a golden on beginning of the year, right? Trend up. Consolidation, hold to 50. Consolidation, hold to 50. That's beginning of last year, sorry. And then consolidation, hold to 50. Now, all you've got to do is buy the break. Like this week in here, like you're buying the break, and now you can go squeezing. You've broken the trend down in the weekly. If Bitcoin gets to that high, the shorts they're buggered. It's not good. That's the only way I can say it. So shout out to anyone that happens to be in that one. Yeah, I should have just taken. Sometimes when you get a reversion trade and you're looking for VWAP, sometimes there's buyers out in front of it. And like my first short in Intel was at 2060, like in that area. And then the headline dropped while I happened to be in it. I reshorted it. So I ended up 1 for 3. Fortunately enough, this one's good enough to get it back. But ultimately, it doesn't seem to want to get to VWAP. I'm kind of trying to bid out here. I do have a trailing stop, I believe, like right underneath or just above that 70 mark. So it can't turn into a loser at this point. Yeah, actually I might tighten it up just a skosh, as Daryl likes to say. But I'm just gonna get out on the way back down into the volume weighted average price, because this is one of those Intel is strong days, not Intel is weak days. So when you catch a short in an upward trend, you want to make sure you take your profit. But MSTR, everybody, it's an absolute beast. I hope there's no one here that's caught short the stock, because I think it's like right now it's looking dangerous.
Yeah, the trend there is absolutely wild, and again, I think that after the earnings report, I think Sharif was talking about this morning. Unrealized profits. Maybe they took a loss of billions of dollars or something. Maybe people are thinking a little short on that one, but you can see that we can see what Bitcoin's doing right now. So yeah, interesting action nonetheless there on MSTR. Here I'm getting involved a little bit here in Tesla as it does consolidate in and around near its highs. Sure, maybe not the best take here, as again we're consolidating in the last hour and a half near the upper quartile of the day's price action. So maybe not the best, but a little bit of a counter trend trade there. Seeing that if we get some relief going into the last hour or so, we've been bid up all day. Do we take some profits? The market is also kind of bid there as well. Softy maybe potentially pulling back into its VWAP. So that's going to be one to watch here. But some of these prior level supports I'm watching on Tesla is 292, most recent level here. The lows are 292.80s. We're trading at 293.60s as of right now. So this is the consolidation I'm talking about here. So if we can crack that, maybe we break that trend and then we can go on for the next level here. Or I get wiped, or price action comes right back in, the trend holds and we get wiped back up to 295s. And yeah, and then that supply at 295s, finally we break out on the day. But no real volume or anything coming in just yet.
Oh, but not to interrupt.
Waiting. What's going on?
Okay, not to interrupt. Webull was just breaking out a little. There's a few things happening I want to make sure we cover before we get to our guest. Webull is breaking out on volume, as you can see here. Simultaneously, you've got Palantir approaching 125. I would sing we're at an all-time high, but nobody wants to hear me sing. It's a fantastic song. It's a James Bond song. I love James Bond, but I'm not going to do it because I stink. But we're approaching the all-time high here on Palantir. And the other thing that happened is hide your kids and hide your wife because kids is halted down.
Hey, yo.
But you know what? It's still holding on to VWAP. The current tap, the theoretical auction price sits at 42. It's actually tapping right into VWAP after halting down at 8.99. So just be careful. We always talk about this, especially in the afternoon. I really dislike those breakout trades late, and it has to do with the risk to reward. Like you're chasing a parabolic move on some Solana whatever stock that's just kind of going day two here, and you're chasing it up like 50, 60%, and a lot of people are taking that breakout hoping for 13, 14, 15, but your risk to reward is not all that spicy. So I try to stay away from them. When it does open back up, we'll let you guys know where it goes. What do we have here? David, thank you so much, David, with all the super chats here. You made me laugh so hard while on an apropos email. Those poor hedge fund tiers are a commodity. Look, I don't have anything. Like everyone has their function in the market. Yes, ultimately, like I'll feel, but I don't feel bad for like there's firms that. Here's why I don't feel bad for the shorts, like the big hedge fund shorts. You know what I mean? Because how can you feel bad for companies? Because like they'll get like a mullen, and trust me, like you're leaning on this and you're winning all that kind of stuff. So when they take it on something like MSTR, it's like fine. I don't feel bad for you because you have the dollars to sit there and lean on these smaller companies forever. Is any single pop they get, you're shorting them to death. So when they get burned on an MSTR, I don't really have that much sympathy. I was kind of joking about it when I said I felt bad for them. And Webull could be an interesting example of that as well, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of shorts piling into this. As it starts to break back out. Now, it had no business doing what it did in the first place. And fundamentally, if you want to try to figure out pricing this, go ahead. I'm not caring. I wanted to buy it at 10 at the SPAC price. But at this point, I won't be chasing this move either. But Palantir 125, all-time high. I said if it got there, I would take a shot at it. There? Yeah, all-time high.
Oh, boy. All right.
I don't know to the penny what the all-time high is, but you guys saw it on the daily. That's if it gets up to 125, I said I would take a shot at a reversion. I still believe I will do that, but I can be really, really patient with this and try to get it in at the right time.
Yeah, the all-time high break going into the end of the day. I like that. I like that a lot. But Softy kind of coming in here. I got eyes on Tesla and Softy. Potentially, again, Tesla looking distinctly different. than some of these other tickers in the market here. It is trading near its highs and been pretty strong for majority of the day. Oh boy, here comes some selling, Neil. So we did kind of come in and test that consolidation low that I was talking about just a few minutes ago. We did do a little bit of a bounce. We came in. I like the selling. I added a little bit more there through the breakdown. And then now we're coming back in. Let's see if we can actually break trend and get the follow through back down here. 292.50s. Oh boy, here we go. Some accelerated selling as sellers step right into the bid. Oh boy, where is VWAP is the next question. I should probably know this off the bat, but I did kind of change the chart here. And Tesla is VWAP's all the way at 287.80, Neil. I don't know if we're going to get there anytime soon. 287. We're trading at 290, 230s right now. So, oh boy, indeed. Shorting the high a day going into the end of the day. It's something kind of going into what you just talked about is what's the likelihood of a breakout at a time like this when we're not really getting any significant volume?
Yeah, going into the weekend?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if players are anticipating the break, then I am more than willing to sell to them. Again, we talk about everyone has a function in the market. You just said you ideally want to be on the right side of that move more often than not. But yeah, 292.30s coming in. So let's see if we can kind of crack a little bit lower. This could wipe right back up and we could consolidate, kind of re-enter that consolidation. But that prior low that I'm watching here is that 290.75. That's where we kind of puked off of that prior level high at that 295s. So that's what I'm watching as a bit of a reference. If we can get down there, that's about a 1.5 away. So I don't know if we're going to get there real quick. We definitely need some market tailwind for that, Neil. So that's kind of what I'm watching here. Nothing else too crazy, but I think we do have a little bit of an interview coming.
Yeah, we do have it coming up. I'll let you guys know when we're locked and loaded for that.
Ready for that.
Someone on Palantir, I wanted to show you the level 2, but they just got filled. So there was somebody spoofing both ends of this. I saw 50 thou on bid, 50 thou on the offer. They were going back and forth. My gut tells me, it's just a gut call, that was somebody holding it in the range to build a short. So I'm like, well, if you're building a short and we're at the all-time high, I wanted the short up here anyways. So I'm getting it in here, but then I drop the trend line from the pre-market and I see it as if we break the trend line and consolidate underneath, I want to add on that. I want to add on a break of the trend line, and then I want to play it back into the volume weighted average price. Now some of it has to do with, remember they report, it's next week, is it Monday morning? Whatever. Palantir reports next week, so you're going into earnings. That's the other big factor in there. So we want to be ready for this. If it breaks the trend line, I'm getting in. But as Obi just mentioned, we have a special guest and interview to drop at the desk right now. So let's go on up to Adara.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much. And welcome to the show, Kenneth Johnson, President and CEO of Lipari Mining. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
How are you doing?
Very good, very good. It's been a special day for us. We just did the bell ringing ceremony at the Cboe Canada Exchange today and announced our listing, which actually started about a month ago. Yeah. So we're the only diamond mining company listed on the Cboe Exchange, one of only 3 diamond producers in Canada that are listed. And we are excited to the future going forward here.
Congratulations. Listed here as LML, again, on the Cboe Canada Exchange. So for those who are unfamiliar with the company, what can you kind of tell us about the company as in terms of where it is today and what sets you guys apart within the larger mining industry?
Well, we're a diamond producer. We're the largest diamond producer in Latin America. We have a mine based in Brazil, in the northeast of Brazil, called the Brauna mine. We produce 140,000 carats of diamonds. That generates about $25 million in gross revenue, US dollars, and per year. And that mine's been in production since 2016. It started as an open pit operation. Now we've successfully transitioned that mine from an open pit operation to an underground operation, and we're going to continue that mine producing 140,000 carats a year for the next 3 to 4 years. During that time, we're going to start focusing our attention on Angola, because that really is where the future of our company is, in Angola.
That's really, well, we're going to talk about both those locations in a minute there too. But just more generally, from your point of view, how do you view the global diamond market in terms of its evolution? And then where do you see the biggest risks and opportunities therein?
Well, I think there's no better time to be looking at investing in a natural diamond producer like ourselves, like Lipari. Diamond demand is starting to increase. You know, U.S. still accounts for about 60% of the diamond jewelry demand, but you're starting to see increased demand out of India, and out of China. As the Chinese economy starts to grow back again, you're going to see increased demand there. And there's very few natural diamond producers in the world. There's only 22 diamond mines in the world. And a lot of those mines are quite old. Some of them are shutting down. In fact, we've got 2 here in Canada that'll be shutting down in the next 5 years. A Caddy and Diavik mine. Diavik shuts down next year. Caddy in probably 3 to 5 years it'll be shutting down. So that's taking natural diamond supply out of the global market, and prices are going to further increase, because diamonds are very rare. I mean, that's what's so precious about them. That's why they have value. So I think, if you're looking to invest in a company that produces something rare, that is something that's going to be in demand in the near-term future, a luxury item, Lipari is the company to invest in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for going over that for sure. And now let's talk about some of these specific locations you mentioned earlier. So the Brown mine, what makes this asset a really key part of the company story here?
Well, it's the foundation of the mine. We're a small producer by global production. We produce only 140,000 carats, as I mentioned, but it provides our company a foundation to grow from. We put that mine in production back in 2016 at a capital cost of $65 million. We built it ourselves, our team. We've got about 200 employees in Brazil. And now we're looking at taking that experience that we gained and bringing that mine into production through the construction phase and feasibility, and exporting that talent to Angola. And we've got a very big project in Angola, has potential to be 10 times the production, so going from 140,000 carats a year to 1.4 million carats a year out of the project in Angola, with a much longer life of mine.
That's really, really exciting here. So talk a little bit more about the scope of this Angola project and what makes you confident in the potential, specifically with regards to Angola and the large expansion you mentioned.
Angola really is the place to be for diamond exploration. There's been some important changes that the government's made over the last 10 years almost to attract foreign investment into the country, focused mainly on the resource sector, mining sector. So you've got companies like Rio Tinto, Anglo American, De Beers going back in there, exploring for diamonds, exploring for base metals, and now they allow foreign companies like ourselves to earn a majority interest in the mineral rights, which is important. So we start out with a 75% equity interest in our project there called Chitengo. We can increase our interest to 90%. By diluting down our partners, which is the government mining company called Ndiama. And our project, the Chitengo project, encompasses 1,000 square kilometers. It covers 30 kimberlite deposits. One of them has been brought to feasibility, has over $35.6 million spent on it historically, spent on it by Alrosa, which is the big Russian diamond producer. They brought that project to feasibility, forecast a life of mine of 14 years, producing 1.4 million carats. And really what we're going to do is reproduce that feasibility study in today's prices and look to push that project into production in the next 3 years.
That sounds really exciting. And so with that in mind, looking forward here, what should investors be looking for milestones and growth drivers for Lipari right now?
Well, one of them was when we announced yesterday, we announced our initial 43101 or Canadian compliant resource for the Chuizo kimberlite. That's one of the 30 kimberlites on the Chitengo project. That's a new mineral resource for that. It shows that it confirms the resource that was previously reported by Alrosa. So now we'll put a processing plant in on site. We'll process some of the ore, recover some diamonds that we can sell in the market to determine the current market value of the diamonds. And with that information, we'll be able to complete the feasibility study, do the mine design, and push the mine into production. So over the next 3 years, we're going to have a steady diet of news coming out, and hopefully we'll see the value of our company increase as we go along.
That sounds really exciting, and congratulations on your journey. Congratulations on the bell ringing and being listed here on CBOE Canada under ticker LML. We have Kenneth Johnson here, CEO and President of Lipari Mining. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Well, both Kenneth and Adair, fantastic interview as always. Check them out on the CBOE. That is Lipari Mining, LML. And I can tell you, wow, Obi, you have to show what just happened on Tesla. I gotta get to Palantir, but that Tesla move was absolutely insane, just in terms of like where and how it bounced.
Oh yeah. Where
and how it bounced on that flush, because like the wick, and look, don't at me. Yeah. I entered a short into Tesla, got out of it, and then entered into AMD, which was good in the moment, but Tesla should have been better. But that same short that just came in, because I know you took that same area, it bounced hard off 290.5.
Yes.
And it just caught a ridiculous bid to get back up to the high. It just did the same thing in one shot. Like it tagged it, and immediately you're back at 92. But I think it's giving
we're
it.
gonna come back.
Yeah, we're giving it back up. My gut feel is if we reject that move, like why isn't it headed to VWAP?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I was looking for, Neil. And I don't know if you guys heard, right before we passed it over to there, I was like, oh boy, I covered way too early. I kind of posted, to get out here as it kind of bid back up. And then as it was coming right back in, I go to cancel the order. And as I'm pressing, you know how Tesla moves. Come on, everybody knows how Tesla moves. And it just wipes right through, takes me out. I'm like, oh boy, now I don't have my 190, was it 193s? You can see that right here, getting in short 293s, 294s, adding back in, adding more 293s, adding more 292s. And then this is what I pointed out. I was like, all right, well, the first strongest pullback that we've had since this bid up was right into that level right here at that 290 halves. Like, I want to know what we do in and around there. So guess what? I got to do a little bit better post there, maybe. Don't post arbitrarily, randomly in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that thing is coming right back in. So we did get that initial bounce. So there was definitely something, maybe a level of interest, maybe some buying there that did show up once again. But take a look at this. The market's also pulling back in here as well a little bit, and we're retesting that low. So can we crack that low? Yes, we can, Neil. And VWAP right there at that 288 mark, so not too far away from that 288. Had some nice entries. Don't know if that trade is going to come fully into fruition, yeah, a little bit of a failure to follow through into that 295s. I'm curious to know, again, with only about an hour and 4 minutes left, we're approaching that hour of power, and it seems like Tesla is losing a little bit of charge into that last hour or so.
You said hour of what?
Power.
By the power of Grayskull.
You know what Excalibur always reminds me of? One of my favorite like old Disney movies, The Sword in the Stone.
That movie.
I love that movie. Sword in the Stone. I love
right,
that.
Ramin? Ramin is
so hard.
dying laughing in the corner. That we always talk
funny.
about all the movies that Obi has not seen, but The Sword in the Stone, don't worry. Obi might not have seen The Godfather, but he certainly has seen The Sword and the Stone, which I'm not saying anything bad about the movie.
It's a good movie. The Wizard's my favorite character. Oh, is he not cool? I think he's cool. Come on. I think Wizards are cool.
It's not The Godfather. Yeah, it's okay. It's not The Godfather or anything, you know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I
Godfather.
might change my mind after I watch that movie.
You know you trust me, you know you want to, which is cool.
I know they're really good movies. That's why I'm saving them.
Like what you like, man. I don't care what anybody says. And like we just joke around because we like to have fun, and that's how we get on Joe about not eating pie and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a huge proponent of don't worry about what other people think, and don't worry you live one life. You don't have first of all, maybe you do have the bandwidth to worry about what everyone's thinking and saying and all that kind of stuff. I don't think you do. So don't waste the bandwidth on that and try to do you. Like at the end of the day, everyone just wants to be happy, love their kids and family, and be good to everybody else. You don't have enough time. You don't want to be wasting your time with any other nonsense. That being said, you need to watch The Godfather. Okay? That's a different story.
Is it like a 3-hour movie or something?
It's worth it. It's so good. I'm telling you, like the performances, and 2 is better than 1, and it's fantastic. But the market's trying to give it back here. Tesla obviously working.
Yeah, it's working.
Well, I made him. Now, obviously, I said I was going to add to this position if it broke the trend line. Now, I could have just scalped the original break, and it would have been pretty good. I could have played that back into the prior high. But my plan of action was to add to it on the break at the trend line and give it to I have to zoom way in so you can't even see the prior bar. So I got this breakdown, and I'm like, I'm going to add here. But I cannot break a rule, and if I'm adding there, the stop goes here to the 15. I'm not giving it to the high of the day. Remember Palantir, it's not at 125 yet, but it's pretty close. I want to be able to have another shot at the 125 all time. I think someone put in the chat, it's like 125.41, I believe, was the actual all-time high on Palantir. Oh, while that was going on, I did get some power hour has now started, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I got some bids as the market came back in to give me 61 on Intel. We would get some VWAP as well. I'm not adding to that position unless I can get the high of the day. So we just have to be patient with it. I think there can be a continuation short. Just want to pick the spots to jump back or add back in. Thank you so much to Tommy White. Super chat for Grayskull stands. Yes. What I love about this is almost nobody. I feel like you have to be in your 40s, ideally, to understand the He-Man thing. Although I do believe they made a new one. I haven't watched it. You guys let me know. Did they not make a new, like a contemporary He-Man? The way that they're remaking all this stuff. Come on, Palantir. I'm not bidding, and I have a bid. You guys can see one. I'm not bidding till when you can literally see me bidding in front of 50 and then bidding in front of the quarter down here. David Treziak, what is Grayskull? David does not have the power. What are you doing to the bear?
Nothing. I was like, I gotta have, like, just like.
You want to have it on your shoulder?
Angels on the shoulder. I was talking to the bear just now, and it was like, yeah, didn't I tell you to short and stick with the short on Tesla? And I was like, yeah. You did tell me that, and guess what it's doing? It is reverting to VWAP. So I am sorry, sorry for that. I will listen to my intuition and my gut a little bit more, and maybe my playbook as well, and hold for the reversion to VWAP, because that is exactly what Tesla is doing right now. Not only have we broken sideways trend, we've also broken the trend of all day, and now we're like, what's the probability in my head that we're going to revert to VWAP? Probably pretty decent. And again, it was okay. Now we got both sides.
But Obi, what if it happens to be wrong and we go rallying into the close? What about that?
I thought I just heard something, but I don't know. I'm just maybe some whispers. I'm wearing, I'm also wearing a headpiece in the other ear. But beautiful action here on Tesla. So me and the bear, which we have not named just yet, are going to continue to watch this bearish action on Tesla as it whispers over and over in my ear that, to get good, pretty much. So
Obi,
290 coming in here on Tesla, 288's VWAP. I was short 294s, but guess what? Where's the next trade, Neil?
Well, I don't know. You should maybe ask that. You know what? The bull, despite the fact the market's pulling back, that bull seems really smart. I don't know. There's something about that bull that just something about it. Just I don't know.
Just something.
I feel strong. I'm gonna put you on the spot here for a second, because I'm 99% sure you're gonna get this right. So I'm gonna show you. I wanted the top.
Yes.
And I'm going to add on the break of the trend line. What rule did I break? See that entry. What did not happen?
The break of the trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The number of times, and I'll cop to this, I was listening to the interview, and I'm like, oh, we're breaking the trend line. But we didn't. We didn't close underneath the trend that I'm drawing. And oftentimes, I'm actually, that trend is from the pre-market, so it's significant. Well, what has now happened? Well, now it's closed underneath the trend line. So it's like, oh, well, now you can add. Well, I already did. And so here's you end up adding when it doesn't break the trend line, so you're adding to your risk when it's not good. And what ends up happening is by the time it closed under that trend line, that add, I give up 25 pennies. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but if every single time when my stop is at about 20 there, it'll improve your average price by about 15 pennies. I'd have 90 something. So if you think about that, that's a huge difference. It's about 20 to 30% less risk. And if every time you take that trade, you're screwing up the entry so that you're risking 25 to 30% more, that adds up over time. So precision does matter. And the thing is, I know, Obi does reinvert. I know he knows that's a bad. But I'm not going to
cry now or later.
Tesla's going all the way to the bottom.
Cry now or later. I don't want to chase. I don't want to chase.
That bull's
this
an
move.
idiot.
I don't want to chase this move. 289s is finally cracking. There are sellers who are obviously dominant on VWAP, on the tape, taking us back into VWAP there. I don't know what's happening, Neil, but the sideways consolidation that's been holding since 12 o'clock on the futures is starting to crack down as well. So yeah, maybe that gives us a little bit of tailwind to the downside. Only about a point away from that 289s. this is the time where I have learned better to take a deep breath and maybe look away, because tomorrow is another day.
Well,
And
tomorrow's Saturday.
Technically it's still another day. Maybe we're not trading, but tomorrow's.
Well, you could trade Bitcoin tomorrow.
Could trade
if you
Bitcoin.
really wanted.
I could trade Bitcoin.
This kind of puts a damper on that whole 100,000.
Oh my God, Tesla. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, so I'm just going to continue watching that one. It's again a little bit of a fumble to cover on my part, but you know what? Where's the next trade? That's what I'm looking for. In all seriousness, so I'm going to continue watching some of these megs. The futures just cracked that low as well, so maybe something is a little bit higher than Tesla to get into. But 288's potentially incoming here. VWAP test almost imminent. What's up with Darren?
Hi. I would also offer a name here for OB's friend. My name would be Uber, and that name is very timely because guess what's reporting next week? UBER, along with a whole host of other names. This brings us to our weekly calendar here, brought to you every single week by TTV Research. If you want to check this out, I post it promptly on X around 3 p.m. on the last day of every week, so usually a Friday, but on a shortened week, it might be a Thursday. If you want to find out everything that's happening next week, this is the place to find it. And we have a huge week next week, tons of earnings, and also the FOMC interest rate decision coming through on Wednesday. We have Uber, Disney, Novo Nordisk, AppLovin, ARM, Carvana, Coinbase, Marathon Digital. We have Peloton. We've got Shopify. We have Ford, Palantir, everything and more. Go to X at TTV Research, check all of this out. And again, I nominate Uber as the name for that bear. Back to you.
I do like that name.
I do like Uber. I think it's
a fantastic name. But I have a beef with that. Yep. The bear represents, everyone knows the bear represents short and weakness. Uber it's just a strong stock, and a bunch of us own that stock. So that's the thing that I object to.
A lot of people have put bad connotation around shorting. A lot of people dislike the short side of the move.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we want bullish. You know what? That's great. I get long-term investing. I get it. You want the market to go up, but guess what? The market also goes down. So it does not matter.
No, it doesn't.
The bull and the bear are like the yin and the yang that keep balance in the markets.
You want balance in the forest.
You want to keep the forest balanced, but when there is not a balance, best believe I will be there to try to revert the move to prices that I think are a little bit more better priced, let's say.
The irony being, of course, balance in the forest meant tyranny and subjugation. And you know what's not going down? Is Palantir. The other thing is, and thank you Adara for this, by the way, I thought Palantir was reporting doesn't Palantir usually...
Need a clip for this thing.
I feel like usually they're pre-market.
It has been post-market for the last, at least as long as I've been here, though previously it used to report pre-market, but not consistently.
Yeah, they used to. But here's the thing. I actually think it would be a better short if it was reporting in the pre-market, because you have a whole day of trading for it to react off of these highs on Monday before you get into it. There's a whole day worth of positioning, and it's the same thing on him. So I said we'd have a relatively tight stop. Now, ultimately, there are some that would say if VWAP is $2 away, why would you stop out for 30, 40 cents? That's just how I view risk to reward. That's just me. That's the mean reversion rule for myself. It's either going right away or it's not. Hims and hers, I was feeling the same way, and then they report aftermarket as well. Because I think we're rolling over. I was looking for something that gives me that mean revert setup where I'm not chasing something to the downside. They report aftermarket. They are in squeeze mode in addition to Palantir. It's a bit different in terms of where this is in the move. And of course, it's got a big short float as well. So I do think it's not nearly, it's close, but not nearly as close to the local high. You'd be thinking about 43 up there on Hims. And I'm just not sure it can get there. So I'm going to keep the eyes on Palantir. If it does make a push to 125, I still do believe that's, to me, going into earnings and an all-time high over the weekend, it's tough to imagine that there wouldn't be any profit taking, right? But the other part of that is, like I said, part of why maybe shouldn't have had as much conviction to add to this on the way down was there's a full day of trading for it to make that move. It could easily hold this up, and then the selling comes in on Monday. Or gaps down on Monday, that kind of a thing, and they don't have to sell it going into the close. It's only 3:09. There's plenty of time here. Darcy, oh my goodness, is it really going? I have to do this. I have to slap the fail for myself on WW, because Darcy just said that this is moving.
Weight Watchers?
Weight Watchers. So for the last 2 days, it's been like it's been an easy short. And then what happened today? Well, it was gapped way down. And the reason I hit the fail is look at the support level, 70 cents. We were short into that a couple times. And look at where it turned, right at 70 pennies. And goes down into like 52. Like, that's clean, man. Like, I think when you're looking for shorts, especially in a strong market, the easiest setup to me is either, it's flat bottom break, like say it broke that down, or just let it trend with the market. And instead of a strong stock trending, it's a weak stock trending into a prior support level. And then you wait for the curl, and this is what it's going to look like on a 3-minute chart. I mean, if you can't ace this one, there's it breaking the trend. Look what happens after it breaks the uptrend. And this is when you know it's good. Consolidation, someone holding it short, someone holding it short, and when it breaks, it absolutely flushes. Now it's moving up again. It's probably just squeezing higher, and the volume's not as good, so you want it to get to that top at 70 for sure. But when you keep eyeballs on PLTR, I want to look for something else that's not HIMS or PLTR to jump into the short on. I'm going to hold till VWAP on Intel for now, but I'm sure there's something else out there that you guys can let us know is moving.
Irai Page is in the chat saying, brief thoughts on replacing 4 27-inch monitors with 6 32-inch monitors using a standing desk. I was talking to the boys about this yesterday. Neil, more screens equals more profits, right? That's usually how it goes?
Yes.
And for that reason, I don't know if you saw how I set up in the corner there, but I've got 8 screens now, so I have 2 4-screen setups, more real estate. I still only trade on 2 screens. I'm not gonna lie. I still only trade on 2 screens. Oh, Ramin's going in there to take a picture. I actually have a sick picture if you want me to send it to you. Okay, so yeah, I'll send the picture of the setup there. It's
okay, the next thing,
I don't know. I like it. There's a lot of real estate, and I always found like my Discord and some of my other like search, like GPT, FinViz. Yeah, that's it right there. So I just took 2 4-monitor stands and kind of put them together.
Yo, look at the monitor that Ramin's.
Yeah, Ramin has a sick monitor. She brought one from home. I was like, I should bring mine from home. So I got two 32-inch 4Ks. One vertical, one horizontal at home, and that's pretty much equivalent to 8 screens. Because
you just
like 8 of those screens. Because I'm pretty sure those are 1080p each.
Okay, here's what I want to see next.
Yes.
Obi, you're not on social, so you guys know like
I'm incognito.
My X handle, it's just Trader TV Neil.
Yes.
I want to see some people's setups because I know Ramin's gonna post. Just took a picture. We're gonna get that up on screen, and I want to see someone out-screen Obi. Someone in this chat is going to have
there's
a
actually,
crazier setup than you.
I'll show you right now.
Now, first of all, I've never had, the only time in 20-something years I've had more than 4 screens is when I was sitting up on the bridge and the other 2 screens were to monitor floor risk. It was to monitor other traders. I never had more than 4 for myself. I've never felt I've needed it, and what in the...
Okay, so...
Come on, man.
Yeah. So check this guy out. So I don't know if you guys know this.
What is he, a bond trader?
Stephen Kalajian. I don't know.
Here, throw
I'm not too familiar with his stuff, but look at this video right here. Welcome to his office. He's got a little bit more than 8 screens, I would say. I think that's a pretty decent guess. But yeah, there's that Rust music as well. But it is what it is. So Irai Pages, I don't know, man. It's what you're comfortable with. Do you feel like you need more real estate? Do you feel like things are crowded and you just have to move stuff around to get to deal with your business? It's up to you, man. It's really subjective to what your preferences are. There's traders who make a decent amount of money with using 1 screen, maybe even a laptop, and then there's traders who have 20 screens and maybe not as much. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Ramin. All right, so yeah, that's a quick little. I'll send you the picture that I have as well. So yeah, I'll send that over.
Look at that keyboard too.
Yeah, I got a pretty good deal on it. It came with the mouse, Corsair, so it was good. Yeah.
What do you mean it came? Okay, now you're just trolling. Yeah, it came with the mouse. No, that is, look, it's a sick setup. I see you got the notes, you got the stickies in there.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're good to go.
I literally only use these two screens
To execute.
Only two, literally only one. One screen for main execution, and then everything else is just observation. I just have charts, multiple things, because I like to hunt.
You're like a primary, like I 100% agree with that. I have two primary execution, like those are the level 2s that I want to execute on. It doesn't mean I have other level 2s, doesn't mean I won't execute on them, but there's one that's the go-to. If I'm actively trading something, then that's the level 2 that I'm on. Passively goes somewhere else. I love that we're getting some good questions in here. Like, where do the cables?
This is kind of the setup here.
There we go. That's a better.
So this is without the screensavers, right?
Picture.
So like these two monitors I'm executing on. You can see this is actually my main monitor, and I'm only trading one ticker here with the futures on the side. I got a market view here, maybe some more charts here. This is like Notion, YouTube, Discord, X for news. My what do you call notes for grading structure, my risk calculator that I made as well. So it's giving me some more room, so maybe some bigger charts as well. But I do like this. I do like the new setup. Initially, I only added 2 more screens. I was already using 6 screens.
You only added 2 more.
I
mean, that's it.
I was like, might as well. Might as well. Why not?
Ramin, send me that pic. I want that picture so I can hassle. The one you just.
Picky Eater saying, let me guess, you need a gamer mouse for the FPS when chasing trades? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
I'm sure you've never gamed at that station.
Well, at that?
Yeah.
No, of course I have. Yeah. I was playing some Age of Empires just last week.
It's not like, and this is the thing, like lots of traders, I know sometimes it's the middle of the day, it's slow and you don't want to overtrade, you just go do something else. And whether it's gaming or just to nerd out, I used to do like crosswords when I first started out.
Yep.
I would literally sit there with crosswords.
I think it's good, man. It's preventing me from overtrading.
What's crazy is when I started out as a trainee and then a full-time trader on the floor, you actually weren't allowed to have internet access on your desk. So yeah,
you just had access to the market?
All you had was access to the market.
Oh,
like if I wanted to go check in, like there was like an internet PC set up. Like if I wanted to go like check messages or something like that, I had to get up from my trading station.
You had to like log into the AOL, wait for the modem to finish beeping.
All right, so obviously it wasn't AOL. It's not that long ago. Not that far removed from it either, but
yes.
No, seriously.
That's crazy though.
It was hardcore. So if you wanted to kill time and nothing's really happening, I didn't want to get up from my desk to go surf or anything. So back then you sit there with like a crossword or you chat. We had a foosball table. You get up, maybe play. It was behind us. Back office strongly disliked the foosball table.
Really?
Because traders are competitive, so even though we're playing foosball not in the back office, let's just say that when we played, it was a little bit disruptive to the back office is doing real work and not just trading. And no, we did not use dial-up. We were trading them.
What do you mean real work? Putting in work here.
We didn't have dial-up. Wasn't that bad.
88's coming back in on Tesla. So
Tesla's at VWAP already.
Yeah, so it's pretty much that trade happened. What I was looking for happened. I only took maybe about 30-40% of the move.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's one for the notes later on. I already put down a couple of notes here in the Discord. I'm just like, you know what, just stay calm. So we can talk about this. We can talk through this. You guys were here for this trade. I had the entries. I was like, all right, cool. I like the short here. I'm getting involved. I'm placing my I guess idea on the market via taking entries and putting on a risk. And I like it. And I fumbled a little bit of the cover when it does come back in here. But here's the thing. This was the level I was waiting for, right? When it kind of comes in and it consolidates, it bounces off of it. That's technically a double bottom now. So if I am looking for the continuation, and if I do have conviction, all I can do is be like, all right, cool. What's the next trade? Size down, because real risk is technically all the way back up here, but I can definitely size down a little bit, maybe risk to the range highs there at 292s, and then take the 290 breakdown, 290 halves breakdown with less size, giving it maybe for the push down into VWAP, and maybe that gives me a quick 1-to-1, but based on my conviction, that can be a very high probability 1-to-1 in my opinion. So it's just, how would I change that? I would change that just that way, being like size down, take the next breakdown, looking for that continuation, and if you lose on it, you're not giving back a decent chunk, and if you're up on it, then you have caught a piece of the move anyways.
That was clean retracement.
It was very, very clean. You can see, bro, the bid came in from 10 a.m. This thing has not sold off significantly since 10 a.m. and it's about 3 o'clock. So it's like the first selling that comes in, and then sellers kind of break this trend on the daily, not on the daily, on the intraday as well. Like this is like arbitrary, right? Just draw a line, figure out what you use to define the trend. Is that trend breaking? Look at that. I think I did well, Neil, getting in here on the right side of the V after it's making lower highs and after it does a bit of a retest, after the trend is broken, and then look at the selling that comes in with confluence with the rest of the market as it comes in and tests. Sure, the market didn't quadrunk or dump, but the market did come in and test this kind of consolidation from before. So will I expect short-term participants to be a little uncertain?
You know what?
Maybe, but it came in real hot.
And it's even better than you think, because
yeah, it's a
part of confluence is how big of a supply zone that is on the daily chart. Like it's a massive supply zone from 290 to 295. The 200 period moving average. You've been dancing with this high and rejecting it over and over again on Tesla. So it makes a lot of sense, and I actually don't think it's necessarily over. With only about 40 minutes to go, there's one thing I did not pay attention to. So yesterday. And if look, the afternoon show, if you're watching the afternoon show, you'll probably remember, or maybe you don't. Like I remember there was a moment where I'm like, yeah, I got to get into the AMD short again because it rejected the 100 continuation play on AMD. So yesterday, that's what the continuation looked like at the end of the day. There's your flush, there's your consolidation, there's your press, there's the pullback into 98, there's your second pullback into 98 in the dump. So right now, I'm not saying it's going to do the same thing. However, it did fail around the same high underneath the 100 level, and then now it's broken underneath VWAP. Now, obviously, the market gets to the high. This could break out the top. All I want to have happen is to break this consolidation lower, and then I want to be short AMD. I'm throwing that one up on a side chart, just looking for that last little bit of a play. I'm not adding to, like I don't in Intel, but I'm not adding to that position. I don't expect it to move all that much, although I've made that mistake before with Intel where I've made that mistake before. I literally made that mistake yesterday. I was like, oh, Intel short off VWAP's not doing anything for me. Let's just get out of it at 10 and then watch it like flush another full percentage point to the downside. So yeah, I'm going to get some out of VWAP, but at this point, it's actually trending up as opposed to working down. And AMD is absolutely working underneath VWAP. So I want it to close. It's not doing it now. I want it to close underneath VWAP, break this 98.8, confirm the downward trend, and then go for it from there. Just let us know. Like, there was a good bounce in the market just now. Rivian Millionaire saying 50 cents on Apple, $1 on Tesla. But I don't know that for a name like Tesla, like that's not much of, it's not a huge bounce. I know it's bounced $1, but the market's going to be retesting the highs when you're retesting some lower highs in here. I don't know I'm not sure that's an all systems go. It's been a pretty green week, and so profit taking to me comes in the other direction when you've had a pretty solid week. Just looking at the overall futures, like look where we're at here. Like you've still broken the trend, uptrend on the 15-minute, and all you've done since then on the 15 is wick the top. Like that's not a bullish candle to go along with the trend break on the Q. So I'm not sitting here looking for any long trades right now. If the long works from here, you have maybe some short scalps. I just think finding a short trade gives you a little bit more juice to the downside. So that's what I want to patiently wait for there. Unless you can find something like bull. Oh, is it going again?
Oh,
of course it is.
Is that bull still raging or what?
That's a good one, because I was about to say a pun, and then no pun that I was going to say was going to be clean.
Sorry.
No, that's a good one. That's a great one. But look at what's happened at this 15 half. Ooh, last 15-minute chart's better. I got to go to a 15 here. Look at what's happened 15 half going into 16 this week.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm not falling for that one. That looks like a bit of a trap to me. up at these
It's a
tops.
trap.
That's a trap. It's 16. Like if it can clear out those highs, it's a little bit different. But going into that top, it feels like a little bit of a trap.
Yep.
It's May 4th on Sunday.
Yeah. You got any plans? You gonna be doing some marathons?
Marathon? No. Well, actually, tomorrow it's Minecraft Day at the Blue Jays game. So we go. I mean, anytime the Jays are in town, I'm there on the weekend. But also they have like a special. You can play catch on the field after for season ticket
really
holders.
cool.
So
with the players?
No. It's just like sometimes there'll be a player that might linger around. They'll have like some of the J squad there, but
Nice.
like my daughter eats it up. We play catch on the field, and it's really cool. And then on Sunday we got like a birthday party to go to.
Okay.
So, like our neighbor's daughter's having a birthday party, so that's Sunday. Which sucks because like it's great. I always have fun at them, but it's at one of those trampoline parks. And so last year this time was before my Achilles injury.
Right.
Dude, we had kids. It was like parents versus the kids on the dodgeball and the tramp. I had so much fun doing it, but this year I can't do the trampoline like right now. I'm just not at a point that I'm ready to do it, which sucks. It's so much fun. Trampoline park, like just dodgeball on one of those is wild.
Okay.
Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Next week, we have the FOMC meeting. And one interesting aspect lately that we've had after these FOMC meetings and any comments from Fed Chair Powell is a Truth Social post from President Donald Trump after the fact. So what I did, and I started this a couple weeks ago, was I went through Donald Trump's entire Truth Social history to find every single Truth Social post from the year 2025 where he mentions the Fed. So I scoured all of his posts, and we have this whole thread now on X. I've added the most recent post just now, so check this out on X at TTV Research, a moment of truth, if you will. So first we have, of course, this early unease. There's gonna be a Fed-themed pun for every single one of these, so just get ready for that. We start actually as early as January 29th, 2025, about 10 days after the inauguration, and Donald Trump is already really ready for Jerome Powell, or as he calls him, Jerome, and the Fed to cut rates. Then we have the nomination here of Michelle Bowman as the Vice Chair of Supervision for the Federal Reserve. And then we start getting more increased tensions at the end here. March 19th, we basically have Donald Trump saying that ahead of Liberation Day, he needs the Fed to lower rates. And then things get a little bit more intense. We've got these posts here on April 4th. After we get an encouraging NFP print, more on the NFP later, that's when we really start to get these escalating calls to get these rates lowered. And then actually, casually, within a much longer post on April 7th, we actually get Donald Trump specifically calling for Jerome Powell to stop and start lowering these rates after creating inflation. Then we have officially Fed up. Now, of course, this was created before Donald Trump came out and said he's not going to be firing Jerome Powell, but these were when the tensions were basically at their peak. We had Donald Trump saying that his termination could not come fast enough, quote unquote, and then started calling him too late. So he had a new nickname here for Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And this last post is actually from today. NFP, once again, being the precipitating factor in a Donald Trump post about the Fed. He says that the Fed, quote, should lower its rates, all caps, 3 exclamation points, after this NFP reading saying that inflation does not exist. So keep an eye on this on X at TTV Research if you want to prepare yourself for the many interactions between the Fed and Donald Trump in a fun infographic way. Back to you.
Talking about there, just to walk through it in terms of like big levels, like you want to make sure, and like it goes back to Tesla. So Owen and I were just discussing when you're trading off a really key level, it matters what and how that level was made, like where, like what cycle are you in. One of the best ones I think was that Amazon 200 resistance. Because it essentially came in, and maybe it'll happen again on Amazon. It would be fantastic if it did. Is it came in a market where Bezos had declared a sell, and I guess I can probably find it on the daily.
Yeah, it'll be there.
It'll be there. It'll be in here. Like so this set up a resistance after we knew he was selling shares, and it's like, okay, well, look at what the short was after that. Now Tesla and a lot of other stocks like Bezos has filed to sell again, and now look at what's going on in the high 190s. You like the resistance at 193, something happening in the low 190s here. Now, I didn't short, I was only long Amazon today, but the 193 setting up in a similar vein. At least I think that's what's happening. So you want to look at what's the regime. I know it's post earnings. There's a big sell potentially in there as, you know, got to buy a new yacht or whatever it is he's going to do with the money. I don't mind when they sell. I care more about when CEOs and big guys buy. It's more of a tell. But after they've declared they're going to sell, if you see a level set up, it's just so good sometimes to play off it. So it was a bit of a topping tail candle on AMD. So I jumped into the short. I was waiting for it to fail VWAP. It failed VWAP. I only have one bid in the first leg there, and if it gets down to 50, we'll put another one in there. Yannick, I'll get to bull in a second. I just want to make sure at 3:30 that I have the early look and bounces up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got to show you this. You don't usually see this. Those are two names we haven't seen. NCLH reported this week and CCL, and they're both $3.5 million to the sell side. So that's large for both of those stocks, and they're in the same sector, so it might be something. If you happen to be trading NCLH or Carnival, then just note there's $3.5 million to sell on both of those names, and that's early. Already at 3:30, we're seeing that number. So just be a little bit. If you happen to be long, I'm not saying punch short CCL, but if I was if I had been long this stock all day long and there's a 3.5 million sell, would I be taking profit? Yeah, I'd probably consider getting on the offer. Like, why not? Like, if that does happen to dump, you got a bit of a heads up that there's some sellers coming into the close. I'm also going to check to see if there's an index action on it because I didn't do that. That's the first thing you should do. So I'll go ahead and check our sources to see if there's anything there.
Yeah, no, shout out to a good friend of ours, Big Patty Ice. He just messaged me saying that he also participated in that Tesla short, and I was like, yes, that was definitely a decent reason to sell. I was like, yeah, look at the weekly and the daily, and the idea is it's so clear that there are sellers there. They're there until they're not. So shout out to BPI. We're gonna be seeing him, I think, next Friday.
I think next Friday is the
poker night. Yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that.
You cleaned up last time. Did you?
I was in third place. I think it was Dallas and Prad and myself. Who were the last three standing?
Prad's a wild card.
Yeah, he's totally a wild card.
No, I was like, no, he just kind of. Yeah,
that's why I was like, because I was like, worked so hard to get to the end, and I went all in on, which was a decent hand. I think that was very valid to go all in on. I don't know if you remember what it was, but I was like, well, with the kind of the chip stacked against me, I think that was a good place to get long. Nice, go all in. And kind of lost that hand, which was perfectly fine. And then after I left, only two players left, and I think they basically kind of just.
Did he hit the gutter?
I have no idea. But it's going to be fun once again. Should be interesting.
I think he lost to a gut shot. I think you got it in good, and then he.
Yeah, he just had better cards. I think.
Did he?
I think it was Dallas.
Oh, against Dallas. Okay, I'm thinking of something earlier then.
And I think Dallas had just one higher card or something like that. But it was good game. I can't wait for the next one. Next week should be interesting. Should be fun.
Adara's gonna play.
I like poker. Yeah.
Adara's gonna play.
Yeah, she did well last time. She did pretty well last time as well. So I'm excited for some poker.
And everyone comes out. Like one of our good friends who traded on the floor. I won't name any names, but this is a dude that crushes it on Blue Ocean. Oh, yeah. He messaged me. He's like, "You coming to poker? Because I'm trying to make it out on the Friday." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to make it out there. Can't promise I'll stay late like the youngins, but I love poker. I think there's a lot of crossover in the mentality of poker and trading because it's just about making quality decisions and dealing with the probability, get it in when you have a positive expectancy to the best of your abilities, and then try to realize you're playing with points and get the dollars out of your head and try to stick to your plan regardless. I love all of that about poker. Some people are saying him short. I'm going to get there in a quick little second. I didn't see anything suggesting that there should be an index action or a reason for the sells that are on NCLH and CCL. So there's nothing structurally going on in the index there. Like they're not getting downweighted or anything like that. I just got first bid out there, only in the 10s, 99 H's because that's where first support was on AMD. But I did want to double check on HIMS. I know that was pressing. Does that just break trend? I think so. Yeah, like it's broke. So since the first hold at VWAP to that one, it is breaking trend. Well, it didn't work on Palantir.
There's something. So I have kind of, I guess, some stats on some reversions, and it sometimes depends. There's some nuances, but especially in the last half hour, especially something strong like that, I think, yeah, definitely trickier. I think that's a good way to put it. Definitely a little trickier there.
There's a logic to that.
There's some selling coming.
It's like a lot of times, if something's up that much and multi-day, if they were going to sell it, it's like there would have been hints of that before. Like, why would you're gonna wait? Like, because the stock's up like monster 2 days in a row. If someone was really trying to take profit, you'd think that they wouldn't wait till the end of the day. That does look like a very good short entry, though. But I know exactly what you're saying there. And PLTR, that's the one I have up on the other screen. Now it's starting to break the trend. Oh, it doesn't get to 125. Look, see, I mean, ultimately, here's the way you have to look at it. That's the exact, like this entry here is no different from that entry there. It's the same entry. It just needed to run the top one more time. But you know what, if it drags it down, hopefully it drags AMD down with it. Tesla's breaking VWAP right now as well. So it looks like a couple of things are breaking. Is this an ad? No, it's not an ad. This is a hold to the low. I'm getting 50s or 60s, and then I want to get out.
Look at that thing go.
Double bottom there at the 30s. Tesla's breaking.
That's a hard
losing the bid here. We do have to go to a dare at the desk, though.
Bye-bye buyers.
You know what we have to do here is look at the earnings calendar and events calendar for May 5th, 2025. Why? Because, I mean, Sean will be pretty excited here. One of his favorite tickers, maybe his favorite ticker, Palantir, reporting after the bell. PLTR, 4:05 p.m. Hims and Hers and Ford, also 4:05 p.m. I'm going to change that in Hims and Hers. Some earnings in the morning as well, including Foot Locker and On Semiconductor. We'll also be able to digest reports and that annual meeting from Berkshire Hathaway. So check all of this out on X at TTV Research. Prepare yourself for the week ahead. Like, subscribe, and join the action every single day. Back to Neil and Obi.
Thank you very much, Adara. And when you're tracking earnings season, there's going to be a lot of names to look at. So you want to be able to whittle it down, eliminate the noise, and get a charting platform that will help you do it for you. So you might not need 8 screens, because with eSignal, the first month is going to be free. So you check them out, you can sign up, it's reliable data, you can hook up to your broker, so that will allow you to do everything consolidated in one place. For many brokers, they have. You can have a highly customizable and intuitive layout where you can optimize your space. You can get as much information as possible, do your back testing, forward testing, all in one spot. Use some tick replay if you need it. You have level 2 access. So if you want to see the book, you can do that with eSignal as well. You've got the imbalance locator at there, so you can have lightning fast insights. It's game-changing charts. And it's free for 1 month, so you can try it out, anybody. Scan the QR code that you see right in front of you. Don't miss out. Don't know how long they're going to be doing this. And if you don't like it, hey, you don't have to keep it, but at least you've tried it and tried to step your game up. So shout out to eSignal, scan the QR code, check the link in the description. And that's where I noticed, I'm not going to lie, we talked about HIMS the first time I pulled up a weekly. It was on my eSignal that I realized why would nobody be buying this when it holds on the weekly? MSTR did the same thing. Weekly chart, look at the hold, and it's the risk to reward on swings like this, because MSTR or HIMS, they're just going to go ham if they do break out. And the tight risk that you're able to get there, if you took this on the weekly, like you're probably covering in front of 38, at least I know I would be, but that's an unbelievable rally there on HIMS. Didn't get those 60s there. Maybe I'll step up into the 70. Like it's 3:37, so it is that time of day where you do want to make sure you're getting fills, for sure. What was the TGIF? I mean, I always say this because there's nothing better and more important to me than spending extra time with the family. So getting that extra time, like I love trading, but to be straight up, it's just ever since my daughter was born, like, man, the weekends are like the greatest thing. And I was never really that person, but I am now. And I'm really looking forward to this weekend. We're going to have some fun for sure, hopefully at the game. But with only about 10 minutes to go to the imbalance, it's time to start wrapping up positions. Like I don't want to be adding back into this. I want to make sure that I'm getting some out. That actually brings me to moving this to the current bid. Oh, insta-filled. Oh, I got a dark fill. Okay, whatever. That insta-fill right there. Rivian Millionaire. Who said don't go long? What? I don't think I said anything about Apple at any point today. I don't want to touch Apple with a 10-foot pole. Like I was initial long good, mess in there, initial short good, and then mess after the fact. So like I didn't want to mess around with Apple in particular. I've really only looked at Palantir, didn't trade SMCI, AMD, which we're in right now. That's about it for me. got to try to keep it as specific as possible. Amazon seems to be holding the bid pretty nicely here, Obi. I don't know what's catching your eye in the last 15 minutes.
I'm watching this Tesla because just like my tiers, it's dropping right off. Right off of I don't know. I want to say something about a face, but face of this price action. I don't know, but it's coming right into 288s there, 287. So we're cracking that VWAP. Some prior structures here at that 286s. So we're coming in pretty strong supply or sellers kind of stepping in, going into the end of the day. We could not break this week that 295. So maybe next week, who knows? But the windup has been pretty crazy there, and maybe some selling coming into the end of the week. 287s. Wow. What a beautiful reversion there. I got to do much better. I definitely got to get good on this one. Again, sure, cool. Fumbled. Got out too early, but re-engage. What are your rules of engagement and rules of re-engagement as well, right? So it's like that's what I'm asking myself. I'm like, sure, you got your ROEs. That's why you got in. But what are your RORs? ROREs? Yeah. So just got to think about that a little bit there. Again, reversion to VWAP. The trend broke going into the I guess 2 o'clock there, right? What was it, 2 o'clock? Yeah, that's 1409. Yeah, so going into 2 o'clock, and then we're getting that follow through in the last hour as well, with only about 20 minutes left to go. I'm curious to know what the imbalances are going to look on Tesla here, as it's kind of reverted about 50. Is it about 50% of the daily of the day's move? I think so. Yeah, definitely coming back into that opening range high that we had right here at that 288 level. That's what I was watching, and that 288 just happened to confluence with current VWAP as well, interestingly enough. So that's the only thing I'm really watching going into the close. But let us know in the chat, what have you guys traded today? I haven't really read too much about what tickers you guys are trading. So I'm curious to know, what opportunities did you see? We had some solid earnings day ones. We had Apple, Amazon, a bunch of other tickers that I do not remember, but I definitely had plans for. So let's go to, okay, so I know I show you guys this every now and then. So the morning watch list here.
You needed more symbols on it.
I needed more symbols. That's
the cool thing is you only traded like 2 or 3 of them.
So it's like, okay, so let me do this and maybe give it, I'll widen it up here. So we can fit all of it in right there. So you can see I said what the VIX was at, kind of defined whatever, and then coming in, I'm like SPYs rejecting off of all-time high anchored VWAP. Look for continuation below prior day range lows at 558. Did that happen? No, we broke out of it, and that was already pushing. There's my alarm for imbalances right there. So those are coming in about 8 minutes. But yeah, UNH, Kids, Apple, Amazon, Airbnb, Reddit, Team, CVX, Block, Microsoft, Qualcomm, Starbucks, Lilly, TNDM, I think that's Tandem, BDX, and Siri. All of these ideas, how many of them actually worked out? I think only 1 or 2 or 3.
You see UNH at the open?
Yeah, UNH off the open definitely worked out.
Oh my goodness, they dumped
that thing. Is just every day, just I think I just want to do a market on open sell going forward on that one. But that's what it feels like.
Seriously.
But, yeah, I think it's
come to the chart for everybody for UNH.
Strong reason to sell. There's a bigger picture swing short going on.
So I'm only going to go back as far as like last Friday. So this is the open on Friday. This is the open on Monday. It actually made an attempt to go up and then faded. And then this is the open. There's the open again, at the open again. Every single day drops like a rock. Now, sometimes it bounces back in V-shaped recoveries. You know what's going to happen next. I've shown you this, and then on Monday, everyone's going to go market on open short on UNH, and it's going to go flying. But it's just a matter of the pattern. Like, that's how patterns work. Sometimes it's, if you're doing it, you do it until it stops working. That said, if you join it late, understand that joining something like that late, you should not have as much conviction in it the 7th or 8th time that it happens. And we used to do, there was a couple of trades that we used to do on the Brazilian market. This is now years back. But I promise you, basically in other markets, sometimes big buyers, well, just be honest about it, they'd be really bad. So like what would happen is you could spot the accumulation buyers that are trying to get the last of their shares in at the close, and it would be really easy to be able to pick up, oh, there's a buyer on this stock this week going into the close. They just can never get enough during the day, and they're buying it up, so they have to do these silly buys in the last hour, and you'd be able to spot it. But you knew that if you saw it 3, 4, 5 days in a row, like the 5th day and the 6th day and the 7th day, you would have less conviction because they would have less shares to buy. That's the kind of thing when you see a pattern like that on UNH. And it was great. We had a trader who literally graduated on that. It was like all he did was trade Brazil in the final hour of the day. That's it. He would just look for a stock with some silly trend where like somebody's either a buyer or a seller on this thing every single day that you can spot. And then he would just join that trend, and that was his entire strategy. Downside, of course, being, when it kind of shifted up and they get better and smarter algos, he had nothing to fall back on, but it was a good strategy.
That's what you got to watch out for with those kind of strats. It's like it's like when people talk about edge erosion or like markets becoming more efficient. You really have to ask yourself, the strategies that you're playing in the future, is there a possibility for this to erode? And do you have anything else to fall back on? I think that's definitely something I think about very often, and something I'm thinking about right now. Is this Tesla continuing to bid
fall.
a little bit lower here? 286 is coming right back in. So testing some prior structures. Again, people were buyers were dominant pretty much all day. Does it make sense we do a little bit of reversion? I have no idea, but that's what we're doing right now. We're trading below VWAP now, so it's giving me a lot more than I was looking for as well. So a little different from some of its Mag 7 friends, but you can see the future is kind of pulling back into some of these prior lows as well. Only about five minutes left. What's going on?
Oh, that's cool. Oh, damn.
Okay.
Yeah, you've seen it. You know what's up, everybody. So Studio 8
Can we see that again?
Studio 8's incoming. Hit that.
That was really cool.
Hit that one more time.
Wait, what happened to Neil? That's like Mr. Stark. I'm not feeling so good.
Oh my goodness! I just got
got
Thanos, man.
You just got. Oh.
I straight up. Okay, so hopefully the new renovation doesn't involve me going poof for 5 years like Thanos did, because that doesn't seem cool. But look, there is an absolute.
Okay, we'll go on a trip to find all the Dragon Balls. Wait, no, that's a different show. That's a different show. Sorry.
No, straight up, everybody.
We'll wish you back.
And you guys know, all of this is going to be changing. It's a big renovation. It's a huge change in how the look and the feel of Trader TV is going to be. We're trying to get it. It's just I can spoil a little bit of it. There's going to be more of a round table set up at many times. So we'll still have the trading desk to engage in the trading, but we'll be able to flip around, have a more engaged discussion with everybody on the panel, everyone that's on the show a little bit better. Sometimes when you see us trying to talk to Joe and Sharif, we're doing this and you guys can't see them, and we can't always see Brendan and Adara. I have to do this to be able to see Adara and wave at her. So we're trying to make a better engagement so we can all be on it at the same time and get a better flow. So we're going to knock out all that nonsense, and we're going to build a much better studio. Studio 8 is going to be fantastic, everybody. Hopefully I don't get blown up like that. That's not really blown up. I was just going to dust. What are you eating over there?
Muffin.
Oh, muffin.
Okay, nice.
Okay. So
what kind of muffin is it? Okay, crumble muffin.
Carroty. There's a carrot in here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, carrot muffin.
Nice.
Looks delicious. Looks absolutely delicious. And that's what it's for. 2 minutes till the imbalances.
Some selling coming in.
Selling started to come in.
Aggressive
so
selling.
I'll cop to this. I did just accidentally punch out of everything. I'm not going back into it. I went to bid out and ended up punching out on AMD. So unfortunately, that's what it is.
Weird feeling.
Bull hit 1625. Yeah. It's still going. It did. It did.
What did it hit?
It did. 1625.
Gold?
No, bull.
Bull.
Weeble, yeah.
I was like, what?
I really wanted this to get to $10, or at least close enough, 11, 11 and a half, somewhere where you could risk off the $10 level for a swing. But you know what? The market's not nice like that. I'm sure everyone had the same idea, so it's going to start going before it even gets there. This might be worth a shot next week. I don't know. You shouldn't be too itching to swing into something, but from a risk to reward standpoint, if we're going to go through squeezing, this would be a perfect name to do so. I don't think it has any business getting to where it did or getting back to some of those levels. I think you'd just be looking for a push into the low to mid 20s if you can catch that on Webull, because the squeeze is happening on that stock. That's the only reason it's going up. But with about 1 minute to go, There's still a sizable early look imbalance on both NCLH and CCL. So it goes without saying, I'm going to throw those up. And then naturally, it'll be like NVIDIA that has the imbalance. Oh, special treat for everybody, I believe. Where's Sharif? I thought Sharif.
He went.
Is he back? What's that?
Where's he at, though?
Oh, I don't know. He gone? All right, fine. He's not coming back.
Neil,
So we have,
Sharif said you didn't. And Neil's Sharif said that you didn't ask him to do it. So he said he's not doing it.
Okay, fair enough. I thought we were gonna. I thought we might have Sharif on the aftermarket show, but apparently we're not. So I don't want to. I thought we might, but with about 15 seconds to go, my eyeballs are on CCL. The plan of action on CCL would simply be, if it comes out a big sell imbalance, try to short it to the local high. But if there's no sell, if it's the same size, if it's smaller than the 3.5, then I don't do it. So Apple buy NVIDIA buy 4 million, Intel buy 2.5 million, Apple buy 1.5 million, Amazon buy 1. I'm just gonna punch out of Intel because those are all buy imbalances. So that's me punching out. All buys. I don't even see like both of those names. Like CCL is not even on here. So the early look was 3.5. I don't even see it on there. Like it's still just the broker. So none of those came out to the sell side. It's all buy imbalances. So it must be a pretty big number. 2.4 million to the buy side. NASDAQ 1.2 million to buy. We don't really, the Dow 750, the Mag 7 680 to the buy side. So yeah, overall 2.5 million to the buy side. You guys can see those are all pretty hefty. I was looking in the wrong place. I thought there might be something on CCL.
Would you say that there are so many buys that they're in sync with each other? No, that was bad. I don't know.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right.
I mean, it's
lots of buys.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I tried.
It's not bad.
286 is held on Tesla, so again, nothing too crazy there. Going to continue watching it for the pairing. But yeah, nice strong selling from an area that we saw supply in over and over again, pretty much all week. More of the same kind of coming in to the end of the day here on Tesla, but nothing else too crazy here that I'm seeing in these imbalances. Yeah, NVIDIA with a buy of 3.8. What is NVIDIA doing? That's the one thing I'm not watching right now, so that might be a little bit of a move. But yeah, look at that. Nothing, absolutely nothing burger there. Bit of a chop. Let's go to the 1 minute and see. Yeah, a little bit of a bid that came in, but flushing or kind of just consolidating near the high of that 50 candle as well as of right now. So I got nothing on watch. Let me know if you guys more jokes saying medical marinara. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Futures pretty much consolidated within that range since about, so this was that range we were talking about earlier, about 12 o'clock until now. We've been pretty much within that range. We tried to break above. We couldn't really get anywhere. We tried to break below just now. We couldn't really, going into the imbalances, and then we reclaim right back in. So I have no idea if anything is of significance there, but we trended up on the day, closing near the highs, up about 1.66% as of right now on the NASDAQ, and above up about 1.57% here on the ES as well. So yeah, that's all I really got on watch. You said you have some plans over the weekend. I think you're right. I think I'm just gonna take a little bit of a rest, work on some maybe some trading stuff. I'm pretty behind on my journaling, which is pretty bad. It usually doesn't happen, but
it happens sometimes.
I'm just like I'm coming in, getting a little busy at the end of the day, and doing the minimum, I guess. Like I'll have my screenshots, I'll write some stuff down. I'm not really fully going into deep dives, just over the past few days. So I got to do some catching up on that, reflecting on that, maybe do a monthly review as well. It is the beginning. It is a new month,
man. It's a new month.
So yeah, lots of great opportunities over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months as well. So definitely have to do more of a deeper dive into that. So maybe doing some of that this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, even bigger than that, just some rest and relaxation.
I do believe it. Like when you're young, get that rest in on the weekend, because eventually, like you find yourself not even able to sleep in on the weekends, man. So you take advantage of when you can. What do we see in the chat here? Harsh. I have to get up to the desk in a couple of minutes, but it's only 3:54, so I'll always stick around for the potential flips. Harsh Shah was asking how to swing trade Qs when it's testing out the 200 MA on the daily. Well, I'm not sure exactly. Like all I could ever really say is like my particular approach. And I don't swing trade very often, but I do occasionally, and I've never done it on the Qs. Like if I'm trading something on the daily chart using the 200 period moving average, then until it's actually holding over it has to have at least closed above the 200 period moving average at least once, if not a couple of times, to consolidate and break away. Like I'm trading it off there. I want it holding above the moving average before I'm taking that kind of a long. Like it's one thing shorting in front because like it rejects that day. You can maybe just short it there and give it to the high. Right, like that's going into the level. But if you want the long above it, well, it hasn't even closed above yet. So I don't even think you're at step one. Step one would be closing above. Maybe you did mean swing short, in which case it's testing now, it would have to close under, which I don't love as much because it's now consolidating between both moving averages. I don't know if that's what you were getting at, but if that's what you're getting at, I hope it does help. We just had 355 hit. And NVIDIA went down to 2.5 million. Intel stayed a buy. Apple stayed a buy. So these are all, for now, they're staying to the buy side here. So we have a little bit of strength. I don't see Tesla. You're into Tesla. I don't see Tesla on here. Let's go to Adara for last time before the close.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Trade the Pool. We all know the saying, big opportunity comes with big risk, but what if it wasn't true anymore? Trade the Pool is redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings to prove yourself in the market. They give you access to company capital, up to $200,000 to trade real stocks, no CFDs, and your downside is limited to a single one-time fee starting at just $47. That means no blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited time during the evaluation, so you get the freedom to trade your way, no time pressure. Visit tradethepool.com. See how far your $47 can take you. Back to you.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
All right, thank you very much, Adara. So Neil's going up to the desk, so you guys don't go anywhere. Right after the bell kind of rings, right after the bell rings, we're going to have the market recap show with Adara and Neil going over some of the movers on the day, on the week, maybe some earnings recaps as well. So at the end of the day, don't have too much time here. About 3.5 minutes left. Just taking a bit of a cheeky scalp here on the Tesla. We kind of broke down, held that 286 level as of right now, just kind of consolidating. Again, those imbalances pretty much, I guess NVIDIA still with a little bit of a buy there, about 2.3 million. Yeah, pretty much a buy across the board. Don't really see Tesla here with any significant size. I can't really here. I'm gonna pull this one in right here. I don't really see a Tesla anywhere in the top here, so you can see the size of the imbalance here, 300K, 200K. So nothing too crazy there on Tesla, but I'm just playing a little bit of that action, that price action there going into the close. If we're going to hold some of these levels, I'm just looking for that pushback into VWAP if it'll take me. If not, that's perfectly fine. Again, not really aggressively sized or anything, just taking a little bit of a shot as the last trade of the day. Only about 3 minutes left, guys. So hopefully you guys had a solid trading day, a solid trading week. Thank you for joining us here for the trading day. I know some of you guys put in a lot of the time. Some of you guys still here from the morning session, and of course Bears versus Bulls here all day. Thank you again for moderating here. Only about a couple minutes, so I think Tesla's not really going to get anywhere as of right now. So I'm just going to punch out of that one there with some aggressive chop coming into the last minute. Don't really want to stay involved with that one. I was looking for a sharp pull up back through VWAP, which is 288s, but it seems like 288s might be a little bit of there might be some selling happening at that 288s or just underneath it. So gonna get rid of that one and walk away. It's been a pretty decent week there. Throw it up in the chat what you guys traded today, and what were some of your best trades? I want to know. We got a couple more minutes left here, but I want to know what you guys traded. I think some of the best trades from this week for me were on earnings day 1 and day 2s. We had Softy. We had I think we had Amazon as well. Yeah, that was today. We had Apple as well today. We had a few other names which I cannot remember for the life of me because I'm more concerned. In my head I remember the chart, but I'm like I forget what ticker that specifically was. But yeah, Chill Vibe saying thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, enjoy your weekend as well, guys. IONQ long, Maro long. Yeah, we know that Bitcoin was definitely a little bit of an interest today with it pushing back up into that 100K mark. Coming into next week, let's see if we actually get to that mark. We saw it on the weekly chart. Nice strong trend back into that prior range there on Bitcoin. And the markets pretty much recovered a decent chunk of their of the flush that we got off of the Tesla, off of the tariff selling that we had. So if you go back and look at the tariffs sell-off that we had, we've reverted a decent chunk, more than 15% on that, and only about 15 seconds left here until the closing bell. So we're just going to do that bit of a countdown. I don't think I have my countdown timer here, but you can see it on the screen with about 6 seconds left. So thank you, Adara, for that. 4, 3, 2, and 1. There's the bell. The market is now closed. It will be open back again on Monday. And I don't know if they're ready for us right away, but hopefully you guys had a great time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us once again. And we'll see you guys on Monday, but don't go anywhere. We got Neil and Adara with the market recap for another 20, 30 minutes, so stick around for that. I'll see you guys. Take it easy.
Thank you very much, Obi. Welcome to the market recap. A lot happened today. Look, obviously, you started out with Apple earnings that were a disappointment. We had the M&M earlier in the week that were good, and then you had the A-balls, and Apple was bad, and Amazon was looking bad. Then it went back into green. We had payroll numbers this morning that shot us to the upside, which came in a little bit lighter. The only blemish this morning, I think, in the numbers was the average hourly earnings was a bit of a miss, but everything else was pretty bullish. So you did have a very strong day overall, despite what we saw from Apple. And what's crazy about it is we were just talking about this. You have Bitcoin, which is breaking out, but there were some big-time runners, the quantum names, pure squeeze plays. HIMS going squeezing, Palantir approaching its 52-week high before earnings next week, and MSTR strategy. There's nothing micro about the move that it's making right now because MSTR was blowing it out. It's not going to close, or it didn't close above the 400 level here, Adara. But we were discussing this. Like it's at a huge spot where next week, if it can take out 404. There's going to be some pain and some short covering, I believe, in this name.
Yeah, so ignore all my lines and indicators on this chart, but I do want to talk about this MSTR for a second here. This is the weekly chart. I mean, obviously, this is insane support on 231 on MSTR. That's crazy support. We have this rounded bottom, also very dope. But I want to talk about this 404 level because Neil and I were kind of debating about this off camera before the market recap began. And I said, honestly, like to me, it looks kind of resistance-y until it proves otherwise. If you look at this weekly too, what's interesting is we get really strong into that 404 push. Then we actually make a higher high to start that week. That was actually Trump's inauguration week there. This is January 21st. We make a higher high, and that's where we get that 404.88. Then we quadrunk, and I'll show you the 15-minute. Sorry, guys, I have a lot of indicators on here, so you can see what I mean. So I was telling Neil, so yesterday I literally, one of the biggest things I was looking for was that 404. So we get to 403.80s, I think it was something around there, and we reject, right? We come back down. Today, we get to 402s, and we reject. So we're making lower highs. I just want to put that out there. We're not making lower lows. It's, just pure Adara thoughts at this point, but if you look at that weekly chart, I think the 231 to 404 range is pretty self-evidentiary, and we're going to have to wait and see what it does with that evidence. Chung chung.
And the thing about that is why I think it can be explosive at breaks is because it's allowing shorts to win above 404. Yeah. Which there's already shorts in this in the long term, right? But now you're starting to get some possible today's a perfect example. Like the way that 400 worked. I mean, come on, nobody that shorted the 400 is holding this one. Going into the weekend, nobody? No, I think you've got some new shorts that are going to be sitting there kind of pretty that if it takes out that 404, it could get into a little pressure. I do want to get to, and shout out to Hertz Scrambler here, because we didn't really talk about the move that CoreWeave made this week, and you can't cover everything, but I wanted to make sure that I caught this from Denise Michelle. I absolutely love that this show is live before the bell and after the bell. No one else is really doing this outside of CBS, CNN, yeah, all those usual. We'll talk about things an hour after they're happening and not show you what's moving in the moment. That's what we're all about here. We used to, and we started out, actually, I don't remember if we started before the market opened, but I feel like it was like 9. It wasn't that much pre-market time, and we were only doing half of the day. And then there was a point at which Trader TV Live was doing the morning, and then we experimented with the close show, and there was nothing in the middle. And eventually what we realized is the community just wants the trading day.
Yeah.
They want to get ready in the morning, know what to prepare for like any trader would, and they want to see what's happening the entire day, and they want to be able to recap it, and they want to see what's going on with earnings. So the reality is, because the show is for the people, that's what we're doing, and we'll continue to try to get better every single day, every week. That's why we're doing the Studio 8 renovation. It's all about getting better. But I did want to address CoreWeave, because that was some kind of a run today. 16% up. And what's amazing about this is NVIDIA wasn't that good. And remember that their business, of course, is running out NVIDIA chips, but they're not doing it to the hyperscalers. It's kind of a different business for them, a bit of a niche that they have going. And if you look at this, all it's done is fake everybody out by breaking the initial IPO low. And since that moment, it's been on one. It even gave you a little bit of a consolidation. So this is now pushing higher. And remember, not a lot of shares came to market here. So it's not as if there's going to be a lot of liquidity out there when people try to short this thing. So you're going to get moves like this. So the quietest 16% you're going to see a lot of days in the market. And it was a good one. So CoreWeave completely blowing up. There was a lot of names like this that kind of fell underneath the cracks, between the cracks. Certainly, I didn't notice it till the end of the day, but thankfully our chat was all over it. I know some traders that obviously kicked butt just following that trend.
I will say, too, with CoreWeave, it had less to do with NVIDIA and much more to do with Microsoft. So apparently Microsoft maintained that they're still going to be, I guess they're one of their big customers. They said they haven't changed any spending or plans for spending for CoreWeave. As far as I'm aware, that's what I was seeing, at least on CNBC and some other sources. That's why CoreWeave was to the upside. But you know, CoreWeave, pretty recent IPO. Another IPO that was a darling from last year was ARM. And ARM reports earnings next week. ARM getting a little bit of a rounded top here to end this week on this 3-minute chart, but nice uptrend otherwise. That could be a pretty interesting one. I mean, we had Reddit report yesterday, too. A lot of these pretty recent IPOs certainly on watch. Also, we just realized apparently the Super Chat goal was was going to be OB doing a flip. We didn't get enough super chats for that. Also, did Obi sign up to do a flip? I just noticed this in the chat, and I'm so confused. We did not. You signed up to do a flip, Obi. Oh, boy.
Hold on. What?
We didn't reach the goal, so it's fine. But
how did this happen? No, you got to. First of all, you can't agree to do a flip and then not have us promote it. Like if I did not. Nobody told me about this because.
Wait, give me this.
Okay, turn the mic on.
If that happens, there will be an OB flip on your screen.
Okay, so first of all, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So I'm imagining there's going to be some effects here. So I don't understand. Like, so my understanding is a red super chat and OB does a flip. That's what it takes.
What?
Okay, so everyone, you've heard it here. There will be an OB flip if there is a red super chat. It's over. Then we're doing it. We're doing it again at some point because you have to give me a chance to sell it to everybody. If I had to eat the packy chip, then we can do something else because nobody had any trouble promoting it when Neil has to do something. But of course, no one says anything when it's Obi's butt on the line there. No, it is what it is. That's absolutely fine. We always try to have a little bit of fun here. He'll flip his position. I just saw him say in the chat that would be a heck of a lot of. No, see. You know what? Actually, I can say this that's the one thing that you would never see on the show.
Yeah.
Like and I can promise you this. We'll never put a poll up and be like, yo, you guys decide what we trade next or what you have to do with the trade. That is like the last thing anyone is trying to do. It would sound like a heck of a lot of fun, but believe me, no one would actually be down with that. That wouldn't be cool at all.
Yeah.
Just back to ARM for a quick little second. Man, that would have been cool to see. Just back to ARM. I ho-hummed about it, and I considered whether I was gonna take some, because I just bought ARM, more shares of ARM down at 85. It's one of the things that I have bought in this downward trend, and I was thinking, should I just be taking some out before earnings? And then I reminded myself, I've already done the scalp game with this before. And every single time that I do it, I'm reminded that at no point have I ever been in my long term near a full position on the stock. And the goal is to get there. And so until I get there, I'm not doing any of the selling. I'm not selling anything. I'm literally about a quarter for what I want in my long term. I have about a quarter of what I'd want. So why am I taking the gains? Even if it's a nice gain, that's not the goal for myself. So I always said I was considering selling it in the midday. I'm not doing, I'm holding on to it. Shout out to you and thank you for the super chat. Marcus, Steven, Johnson, MSJ, thank you for the super chat. No question, no comment. That's fine, that's great. We appreciate everybody in there. If you do have, like at the end of the day, if you do have questions for us, that's absolutely fine. I did want to run over some of what happened with the ETFs because a few things got left that we maybe don't always pay attention to that I know I didn't notice. And I know if we had like Michael Noss here, he'd be doing like jumping jacks probably over the bounce on UNG because that very much respected and held the higher low. If I zoom, I don't have to zoom out. You guys can see it. You got the 12.5 bottom on nat gas. And then you had this 14.20, right? So there's your low. You get a little W pattern, pull back in. It wasn't clean to hold this prior low at 16 bucks, but it did hold 15 clean, regain the 50 period moving average. Now it might be a trap when you're in a downward trend, and it definitely entered into a downward trend. You don't want to fight UNG, so maybe it gets back into 20 here in that 200 period. That's an obvious level, but a nice bounce play. I don't know if he took it, but I think it's kind of up his alley. And it has been a good move. And the other thing that was big, and you guys can see it right here, is the Jets ETF. 5% to the upside. And I've long said I do not believe in, I don't invest in the airlines. I think you can trade the travel space. I don't want to own it, but I think you can trade it. And we were talking about double bottoms in some of the individuals, but Jets, double bottom, trying to regain that 50 period moving average and the 200 period. And the thing I like about this sometimes, we've talked about it before, especially on the aftermarket show, death cross here. And since the death cross, anybody that shorted the death cross there's your consolidation. Plenty of time to build a short under 20. Well, they're getting broken. The 20 is broken, maybe some are out. I'm sure there's going to be other stops at the 21 level in the 50 period moving average. And when they're covering, you've got room to be able to rally. So that's worth looking at that group coming in on Monday because that death cross breakout trade, you know traders get short off of it. So why not use their exit as your win? I think it's a great looking setup. Tesla is a perfect example of that when it starts to go squeezing here, Dara.
Yeah, I think that'll be really interesting. When I was just thinking, someone was asking me here in the chat, I think it was Stanley in the chat, what am I thinking for the market next week? And, you know, honestly, my thing is I want to wait and see what we do on Monday. And I think partially that's because of what we have. I just talked about that MSTR weekly chart, but also please forgive all the lines on my Tesla chart. I need to deal with these and clean this up. But this weekly chart on Tesla also coming to an interesting level. I talked about this in the chat earlier today. This 297 area, and it's kind of where my mouse is, we bought against this on the weekly back in January 2021. Quaduk. We come back, we get above it, hang out a little bit, Quaduk. We come back again, reject it, July 2023, Quaduk. We break out above it in November 2024, and that's quite frankly when we get this actual rally. Once we break above 297, then we come back down, and look what we cannot close above this week, 297. So 297 Tesla and MSTR 404 over under, that is going to be really what I'm watching next week. I'm going to be really honest with you guys, because I find if I look at the weekly chart and I have certain levels on like stocks or indices or just ETFs or what have you, those levels do, I mean, you know, I don't necessarily have to agree with them or stand by them, but they can give me a good gauge of what I'm trying to look for. And on both these weekly charts, those levels are screaming at me, have been screaming at me, and they're going to be levels I'm watching. Also, Eli Lilly, if it can break above that 830 and then it can break above 856, then I think that would be a good sign. Like, there's just kind of individual things I'm watching to get a gauge for what the market's doing. I don't think that answers your question, Stanley, so I apologize. But someone mentioned this in the chat before. I watch and trade a very, very small roster of names. And I tend to, other than, of course, for the news, I watch everything. But for my own purposes, I tend to kind of follow my own teeny baby basket. So within my basket, that's kind of more usually what I look for in terms of market sentiment, if that makes sense.
Ooh, I like this. Tough Aldrin in the chat. Now that's realer than real deal, holy Neil. And now you players and pros know how I feel. And if it's good enough to give, I can't do the rest of that. I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this, that, this. You know the joint. And Dara and I were having this conversation about freestyle. Everything I know, and I have to clean everything up. Everything that I put to memory was all back when I was in like high school and university, and none of it's the clean versions. And anyone that actually watched when I would end the show doing something knew that a couple of times I was always trying to clean stuff up in my head in real time, and then realized that I forgot something and then almost slipped in. I want to give a big shout, David Tretsiak. It's just, every time you're in here, all you're doing is spreading the love and spreading the gifts, and just gifted 5 memberships. Want to shout out to you, Rainmaker, Why Not? We got Pat Troy, Philip, and Brad Does Real Estate, all able to pick those up. Thank you so much for doing that. And by the way, if you're watching and you're not in the chat, you're like, what is Neil referring to? What is Adara referring to? Hit that like, hit the subscribe. It's a subs-only chat. Make sure you jump in here, hit that subscribe so you can get in there. That's what it is all about. Spread that love. We have so much fun, everybody, and it's because of you. Like, trading's a lonely game. Sometimes things aren't even moving, and you want to be able to have a little bit, sometimes things are a trap, right? Like, that's the idea. And you want to have a great community so we can all learn from each other and have a little bit of fun as we do it. But I only wanted to say something about Tesla at Eli Lilly because you were talking about it. This level on Tesla, this high 290s, which you have to respect. There's 2 ways to look at this, and obviously today and this week, and there's been good shorts off of this level. But Tesla falls firmly into that category of there's your death cross. Let me zoom in. There's your death cross. There's your resistance level, and we haven't broken it yet. And you also had their report. So you've got earnings that have come through. The shorts have temporarily actually won on the death cross, and they still haven't been stopped out yet. So like that's the other side is they've been winning and probably emboldened, and the day trading shorts have been doing fantastic as well. And then there's re-entry on any swing shorts out here. This thing gets through 300, you can go Squeezeville, and the gap is tremendous. Like the gap in that chart, okay, I'd argue once you get through, you can maybe retest 330 here, but the gap is pretty big back into 350. So like plays in both ways. Like when those shorts are good, day after day after day, it also lets you coil up and blow out a little bit. Like I'm not saying it can Palantir to the upside, but if you look at that sub 100 level on Palantir, right? Like where you had the 100 all the way down to the fresh low at 65, and then you caught, it went right back in, gave you a few days of let the shorts win in front of 100, and then look what happened when it broke. You're at an all-time high 2 weeks later. Now, I don't think Tesla has that in it. It's just not that kind of, I don't think it's not that kind of a name necessarily anymore, and the highs are a little too far away for Tesla. But there is something there. Like it's not getting to 500 on that kind of a move. But can you get to 330? Can you get to 350 if we break that 300 next week? I think so. Like you've got a nice consolidation that certainly is setting some shorts to get in there for sure. What? Oh, that's true? Well, I didn't notice this. Oh, is that still, no, I'm just reading the chat in live, and I didn't realize that was still not fixed.
Yeah, it's never been fixed. My X account has been suspended. I don't know why. I don't know what vendetta Elon had. No, I'm joking. Elon doesn't have a vendetta against me. Everyone was joking, did you post anti-Tesla things? I'm like, no, not at all. But I will say I'm going to be making a new account at some point. I've just been really busy with the TTV research and such. At some point, you will see a new X account from me, hopefully sooner rather than later. I will admit I have been a little bit slow on it, but yeah, so it was a nice look there. Also, I'm laughing at Why Not in the chat saying Trump will tariff for freestyle. Also, proprietary secrets. You got my TTV. No, I'm joking. I don't even care. I'm just doing my infographics on the screen.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Can I have one? I just want 30 seconds. I know you're not watching Trader TV Live, Elon, and maybe you should be. But I will say this. And I know I'm 99% sure about this, that pretty much every single one of us on the show are Tesla shareholders. And we've had your back because we believe in the company and all that good stuff. So you're going to turn around and you're going to block Adara's account, one of the best accounts on X, the curator of the Trader TV research, which is easily the best account that you've got going. You need to do better to steal it from Joey Swoll. Don't mind your own business. Get in this business and get her account back up, Elon. Come on, son.
TTV research still works. It's just my
I know. I'm just saying your Trader TV account needs to be up.
Thank you.
That doesn't make any sense. We all have them. Just get it done. That's what has to. It doesn't even make any. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make any sense. I just wanted to rant about it because
That's fair.
I'm allowed to.
No one understands why.
Nobody gets it.
Good times.
No, everybody.
Wait, Obi, what are you doing?
What is? Obi? What is going on over there, Obi?
No, he was not.
Okay, first of all, Obi is over there doing some shenanigans. He's got the bear, he's got the bull. Remember we had that conversation where Obi was like, you should go short in Tesla, and that idiot bull jumped on his other shoulder and was like, maybe you should consider not going back into the short. And then of course Tesla dropped. How many dollars did that drop from that moment? So I mean, I know it dropped a lot. Where were we at? You were short at 293.23? I thought it was 294s. So he added to 294, added it 293.23, and that idiot bull talked him out of getting more short, and Tesla dropped all the way to 287 or 286. So sometimes if you listen to a stuffed animal, it might lead you astray, or at least the wrong one, because the bear had that one right for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking. People were like, what do we call Obi's bear? And I said, he's been calling Uber for so long. Why would you not call the bear Uber? I mean, you had Obear with Uber and Ubol. I don't know. Also, speaking of bull, people are asking about Webull. I do not have any news on our friend Webull, nor do I have news on that PLRZ, Poly Ryzen. Hello, Obi and co. And friends there. Also, I want to thank one of our viewers here in the chat for gifting a super chat. Gifting memberships. Marcus Stephen Johnson, thank you very much for this gifted membership. And thank you all for being here with us every single day. Thank you, Bear. Thank you, Bull. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Yeah, we still have like 8 minutes left. I'm just in a good mood, and I'm so confused by the shenanigans that were happening on that side of the desk.
Well, we also have a special treat for everybody because I don't have my Trader Talk button. It's not working. So you're going to have to hit it for me, Fabian, because we do have coming from Trade Ideas. There he is, our good friend, Steve Thielman. Is it Thielman or Tileman? I want to make sure I get this right.
Tileman. Thanks for asking.
See, and you know what? A lot of people are like, I'll just hope I get it right and then try not to make it up. I'd rather just pie in my face for saying it wrong. Our good friend Steve Tileman over there from Trade the Pool. So it's been a ridiculously insane week, and I use that term like with all meaning. Like we had quantum stocks that almost half the people weren't paying attention to that were going nuts. We had a wealth of earnings. We have the Mag 7 first, the M&M giving us a tremendous rally. It looked so strong from Microsoft and from Meta. And then last night, Apple and Amazon felt like the opposite. And a lot of people would have come in maybe thinking, hey, okay, it's been multiple days in a row to the upside, not great earnings from the next big two, maybe we should be going short. And then all of a sudden today ends up like almost a rip your face off rally to the upside. So my first question is, how were you managing the chaos that we had this week?
Well, let me tell you, it's really important for me, at least, to keep a zoomed out perspective and kind of keep in mind where we are in this big range we're navigating, because the intraday moves are crazy, aren't they? Like you said, up then down. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I know that here has worked a lot is if you're patient enough for it, and you're like, just say you didn't ride the wave, or you weren't anticipating the longs, you didn't get it. If you're really patient about, say, like a mean reversion trade, and the example we were using was Tesla had resistance at 295. You let it get up there, you let it test a couple times, it holds the high, and it breaks a trend, you jump into a short. Robinhood yesterday was tanking, and eventually it broke the trend, you catch a little bit of a long. But what's interesting about it is I've come into the last 2 days with that approach, and then still even found half the time I'm still not even patient enough to allow that level to hold, because like Tesla was up there for an hour. You know, Robinhood took a while testing its lows after earnings yesterday before it turned. So I think we're in a market right now where your patience is being tested, and it's almost as if you were looking for a double bottom, maybe you need a triple. Or you start in a smaller position with a wider stop, and then you don't tighten up until you get some extra confirmation. At least that's the gut feeling that I have.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think for me, the most successful strategy I've had off the bottoms is just when you get a price that's good to it's too good to refuse. You got to take a little stab at it, right? And you can build into those positions as they start to work and cut them if they go against you. And so where I'm at is I'm underexposed, and I wish I had just bought more at those levels. But all of my levels are working, so I feel safe holding those positions. Otherwise, it's chaos. I'll be right. I'll be right there with you. You know, it's hard to read intraday.
Oh, and that's sort of the thing. Like, and I like that you. So a couple of the terms that we use here. Some people will say nibble in. Sharif on the midday likes to say wet the beak. But I think it's an important thing. And one of the reasons why a lot of traders have to do it is I find if you don't, or scratch the itch is a term I like. If you really, really like the level, but you're not getting all the signs, just get in a quarter, get in a third, get in a 10, whatever that is, whatever makes sense to you, because you don't want to miss it completely and have nothing on board. But if you don't have the ultimate conviction, then you can't be in the full position anyways. And some people, and I know some traders that are like this, and I don't agree with it, they're like either all in or nothing. And I find there's moments in the market where that's what you can do, I suppose, but we might not be in one of those, and you'll be missing out on so many opportunities if you don't have that approach of being able to just get in a little bit smaller, give it a bit of a wider stop, and you can still have fun.
Absolutely. I mean, when you have these big capitulation moves like we had with the tariff announcements, the best buys feel the worst at the time, right? And sometimes you just have to have that conviction and trust the level, trust your stops, or trust your sizing so that if it comes down, it's a blessing and not a curse, right? Because if you're buying quality, you buy it at a level that you're like, this is a good value. And then it gives you a better deal. Hey, take the better deal if it's looking good.
Well, that's sort of the thing, and it should be. I hope you don't mind if I put you on the spot a little bit, because I just saw Eric in our chat, Eric McCambly particularly, was just curious, any positions that you've had on this week in earnings? Do you like trading off of earnings, or have you put anything on recently that you wouldn't mind talking about, a stock that you like?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me see. I'm popping up a chart right now.
Perfect.
Let me know if you guys can see this. But I have been long MSTR, MicroStrategy.
Oh, perfect. You know what? If we don't, I can throw it up and we can work off that if that's okay.
Yeah.
Is there a time frame you want?
Like a daily.
Oh, daily? Okay, I can go right to that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And so basically, I was looking for high beta exposure to the market, and I was wondering where the gold money is going to shift into when that kind of finally blew off the top there. So that's kind of been guiding my belief in Bitcoin doing well. And I saw the double bottom. I saw it catch off of some key indicators there. Yeah, yep, you got it. That green line there. What's that? Our 200-day?
That's a 200 SMA. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is one that I've been riding for a while. I just took it off at 400 because, hey, that was the swing high. That was my target. I left a quarter of the position on for earnings, and it looks pretty fine, honestly. So I'm going to let it cook and do its thing. One more that I'd love to talk about is FXI, the Chinese ETF.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This thing,
Similar thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I won't pretend like I knew that Trump was going to, talk about some bullish potential progression with the Chinese tariff situation overnight. But what I could tell you is that was a really tight flag. It was holding key levels. And so for me, this was a no-brainer. So this is one that I got in 2 days ago, maybe, a little bit early. I was down 0.5% or something, and then boom. So this is one that I'm excited about, and I want to keep watching it progress and look for names in the Chinese basket to outperform here.
Yeah, that's what's cool about that. I like what you said there. It's a really tight flag, and when you have a setup like that, like you're looking at, that flag, it's like a 33, 8, 9 in there for like multiple days where you're just kind of sitting, and the 200 period is a full. You're a buck away there. You can have a really good risk to reward, and if it flies through the 200 period, so the 50 period, you have so much room to rally. Now, when you invest, I know you just sort of said that you're looking for some names to outperform, and I like what you did there. So does that mean if you're holding FXI and you see one of the individuals, I'm just going to throw it, maybe it's Alibaba, maybe it's JD, I don't know, I'm just throwing names out there. Would you exit FXI to enter one of the others? Would you hold FXI and enter one of the others? What's your approach? Are you taking risk off, taking profit on the ETF to then roll that money into what you think is a better performer inside the sector? Just out of curiosity for myself and maybe the viewers as well.
No, absolutely. It's a great question. So how I like to trade these kind of scenarios is if I'm trying to catch an emerging theme sometimes it's a bit hard for me to identify the leaders ahead of time. So if I'm in the ETF and then the whole basket starts working, I can take some profit on the ETF at a key level, like right now when it filled this gap. And then I can kind of hold that capital to invest in the stocks that I think are progressing the best out of the base break. So, I mean, you name Baba, you name JD, those two are on my list. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Baba.
Oh, yeah.
It's running a little hot though. So maybe I take the FXI, some of the FXI off on the gap fill. And if Baba fills the gap back down below or retests that previous high, that's the level I'm watching. I'll be getting into Baba.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, can we come back to the chart for a split second? Because I just wanted to show JD. Now, obviously, I didn't know that, okay, I knew Baba was doing well. I had Baba in my long term as well, or my swing account technically. But JD, as you were saying, what's weak and what's strong? Well, JD's not as strong, and this is still looking relatively weak. As a matter of fact, like, I'd be a little bit, like, if we were to lose that 50-period moving average, my goodness, JD losing the bid almost seems like it should be a short. But I love that idea, Steve, and I think this is one of the values of when we bring guests such as yourself on, or just what we try to do around here. It's not just about, hey, this stock is good, or this line on the chart makes sense to go in. It's about that entire process of the trade. Like, what are you doing with the profits? What do you see as next? Because ultimately, it's about education here. So I appreciate you coming on to give us a little education on a couple of your positions. That MicroStrategy is a really popular one. And I think there's a potential squeeze going on. I mean, if Bitcoin gets to that fresh high, the shorts are in a heck of a lot of trouble. So you got a good one with that for sure. And I love the play over in FXI. And I'm with you on Alibaba's strength. I'm a holder as well.
Awesome. I love to hear it. I think we're aligned here and we're going to make some good money.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's already 4:30, and I hate to do it because we had such a great time here, but I got to thank you for coming on, Steve. It's my first time able to talk to you, so it's a pleasure. I know last time it was Sean here, so it's a pleasure for me to get to converse with you, and thank you so much for taking some questions that we had from our viewers. Best of luck in all of your trading. Steve Talman from Trade the Pool. Go MSTR, go Alibaba, go FXI. Have a fantastic weekend. Look forward to talking to you, hopefully, in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Oh, we love us some Alibaba. Everyone loves Alibaba. And Sean's in Alibaba as well. I know I shouldn't say we're all in this one. Sometimes I say that when I'm referring to only a couple of us. There was some really good buys on that, and we want to see some continuation on those. And then what the heck is going on with JD? I don't know why it's so relatively weak. It's up 5 points today, but it's closer to the lows. That alarm is louder than it usually is.
Yep.
So I'm just going to throw that out there, Fabian. It was just a little bit louder than normal. So, a little bit of pep in the step. But you know what it means, everybody. It's been a wild and fun week of earnings. But you know what? We haven't even had NVIDIA yet.
No.
So there's still a heck of a lot to get to. We haven't had Palantir. That's going to be next week. So there's a heck of a lot that we have to cover. But at this time of the day, it's more important that we get to roll call.
It is.
And if you want to be part of Roll Call, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe, more importantly, so you can get in the chat and have Adara rhyme off some names in rapid fashion. So big shout out to Obi filling in for Shante, doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Sean, had a great week, and I know he's enjoying his weekend with the family. Big shout out to the Bash brothers on the midday, kicking butt, Sharif and Joe. And of course to Adrian, Andre. I would say Adrian, my roommate, because Andre always reminds me of my roommate from university. To Fabian, Ramin, and Andre. There's big changes going on in the show, and they're doing great camera shots and all these fun stuff with it. So it's going to be even bigger and better. Big shout out to Adara, making sure that you guys are informed every single day because it's wild in the Trump era. And a big shout out, of course, to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the business. We couldn't do without you. So let's get some roll call, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone for being here. Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Sharif. Thank you to Neil, of course. Thank you to Bears versus Bulls for everything you do every single day. We had Obi. We had, Bear. I don't know. We had Sharif. We had Joe. We had Brendan. We had our special guest there, Kenneth of Lipari Mining. We have Ramin. Right. We have Fabian, we have Andre, and we have everybody in the chat here. Thank you all for being with us. D. Westermeyer, Bob the Dog, we've got Garov, Smokey Love, Dave Geyser, Mr. Easy Street, Blip Lorpo. We've got My Nickel, Ned Okay. The Sam the Stock Trader, Sebastian Ontiveros. We've got Optimal Betting. Oh, there's a Sam Save Man, Woman, Peace, CompuCare Team. We've got Jai Singh, Demo. We've got Eric McCambley saying, keep wearing my lucky glasses. I don't know if they're lucky, but I will wear them from time to time because I need to for my eyeballs. Thank you to the Piper, Carlos Briones. We've got CompuCare Team again, Dewey, Robert Liu. We've got Bbot 5000. I'll show to Streamlabs. I'll show to Harpreet Singh. Daryl Flinch, Mohican Scalper, DJ 2AM, Miami Mario. We've got Happy Zombie, Jason Raybon, Los Pollos Hermanos, and David Treziak. Thank you as well, David, for donating those memberships. Shout out to Studio 8, which is going to be our new renovation. And also, before I let you all go, make sure to check out TTV Research on X. Give that a follow. Right now, I'm going to be working on an infographic on seeing if there's a correlation between the ties that Fed Treasurer Jerome Powell wears to the conferences and the rate decisions. I highly doubt there is one, but it'll be fun to look at either way.
And I see this in the chat. Maybe we have a Bitcoin 100,000 moment on the weekend. Maybe it happens on Sunday. I kind of hope it does because we have some long Bitcoin. But I've been told by Ramin, what? No? I've been told that we have something special coming up, maybe, to show. So are we ready? Do we have it? Let's see. Yo, that is hot. That's super hot fire right there. That's amazing. And you can see Ramin, who is now taking pictures on her phone of the... She's taking a picture of that on the screen on her phone. I love what's going on. Ramin had that fantastic Studio 8 graphic where I was like blowing up along with everything that we're blowing up. Obi's eating something and not sharing because that's what you should always do. Is that the fruit salad still? Oh, it's a fruit salad from the morning? Okay, I don't want any of that. It's still good. It's fruit. It's fine. It's delicious. Adara, you have the muffin from earlier. I'm hungry. I want dinner. It's movie night for myself.
Oh, nice.
I got to thank everybody. It's been such a fun week, and we're gonna do it all again next week. But I'm telling you, the chat, you guys have been on fire. Our community is the best, but I feel like this week has been amazing. We've been having so much fun on the show, and it's all because of all of you. And we couldn't do it without you. So everybody rest up. Have fun with your family over the weekend. We still have big earnings, Palantir next week. It's going to be absolutely wild. Okay, well, now if you're going to do that, now I'm just going to prolong it for a little bit. Now I'm just going to drag it out a little bit longer for you. No, you can't do that. It's not over yet. You can't shut us up. Oh, in all seriousness, everybody. We're Trader TV Live, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you do